You are watching a master at work.
What's going on, guys? Sam Prentice back with another one. This is the long-awaited CR-M4 Creality printer. It's the beast from beyond. In fact, I've been waiting for 40 days and for 40 nights while this thing has been stuck in customs, and almost thought about perhaps praying to the 3D printing Jesus to try and get this thing released. But it's finally here. It's been a long time coming. If you're a frequent viewer of the channel, you might have seen my videos on Formnext where I spoke to one of the CEOs from Creality, and we talked about this very printer because it was there at the time. And based off of that, we kind of got a deal struck to do some stuff with this printer. And again, if you're from the robotic or droid building community, this is kind of an important printer, really, because it's very much kind of one of the largest style printers they've brought out since the S5, which is the 500, 500, 500. This one is 450 by 450 by 470. But from what I've read on the notes here, the bed is actually 470 by 470. So I'll give you an example. If you were to print a R2-D2 dome as a good example, that would fit on side of this because that's 465 mil. So you'll have a tiny, tiny amount. And I'm going to try and work this out and see if we can kind of make it all happen. So good stuff that this has turned up. Unfortunately, though, as I was just explaining to someone that's in the green room at the minute, who I'll bring in a little while, I had a schedule of works, and the schedule of work should have been months ago, really. And all the printers have turned up at once. So you'll notice as well that I'm not in the studio today. I'm actually from my house. And the reason for that is I've got a ton of projects going on. It's insanely noisy. It's an hour's commute back and forth there to get there. So yeah, I thought, you know what, today and probably tomorrow, because I'll stream again tomorrow with the Snapmaker J1. I thought we'd just do it from the good old studio, which is about to have a refurb as well. I might have a desk coming up. So if you're into desk videos, and I know some of you are, you might see that coming up. So what I want to do very, very quickly is get to grips with what actually the CR-M4 is all about. It's what I'd call almost kind of an industrial prosumer style printer. It's basically built for industrial print purpose. So things like multi-prints inside of a print farm or a print zoo, depending on what your preference is. But it's something that I was kind of excited about and thought, you know what, with the rate of printers that all of these companies, Anycubic, Creality, Bamboo Labs, even the frequency that they're pumping these things out, I thought it's probably worthwhile looking at this one and seeing what it's all about. And there's things on this like the linear rails that are insane. I think they can take about 30 kilos of weight each. So it does make this thing into a bit of a beast. So I've got some videos and stuff to play in the background here. So let's crack on with the first one. Here we go. Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy. I overdubbed that. I put my own music to that one. I thought it was kind of godlike almost. And, like I say, with the 40 days and 40 night thing that I've been experiencing. And again, I've been waiting for this printer since November. They were going to ship it from Germany. That didn't happen. And I just cast my eye on the notes, which is on another screen up here. When you do 3D printing reviews at the kind of levels that I'm kind of getting up to now, they give you a fact sheet of what you should do. And in fact, this is the first time that Creality have actually given me a Key Online Leader script here, almost, of basically wanting to talk about certain features and stuff like that. But the first line and the first reference says it is recommended for this product to be reviewed in a single video, not referring to a live stream. So unfortunately, because it's taken such a long time to get this done, if I do a week's worth of filming on this, and I will do that, I will do a proper review on it, but to get it out of the box and to get this kind of working and moving forward, it was important that I figured that we do a live stream with it. But someone that is in the green room at the moment is a good friend of mine. It's Phil from 3DP UK. I'm going to bring him in. Hey, Phil.
Hey there, Sam. You all right?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, going well.
We all know that you've been on the Creality streams a couple of times. You also featured in one of the videos recently for their 9th birthday, I think it was this year.
Oh, I did, yeah.
So you're quite well versed with the Creality ecosystem, I guess. One of the funniest things I think about Creality at the moment seems to be that they just kind of keep pumping out these printers, and with the pressure from Bamboo Lab, with the pressure from other manufacturers pushing things forward. We've got the K1 coming out next. And again, the K1 seems to be another ecosystem inside of everything else that's out there, the Enders, the CR series. And I did notice that someone else had reviewed this and they said, oh, it's a big Ender. Thing is, this isn't a big Ender. This is a CR. In fact, he's a big Ender. That's what we can call it. But the CR range was very, very different. And, going back 5 years when I was, playing around with these things, and I had my first CR10, which was the 300, 400, and then moving on to the S5s, we had a single Z-axis. The movement forward on all these printers just seems to be absolutely epic. And for a prosumer, what I would call a prosumer, so someone that's going to want excellent prints every time. It's not a budget range. This printer, for example, I think it's about £1,300. But for that kind of build area and for some of the features that were there, I could really see that was going to be something that is going to kind of impress quite a few people there. Yeah.
I believe this particular printer that's come out is really going to challenge the larger formats. Having had some larger format printers myself, like the Cobra Max, I really struggled with some of the features on it. And it seems like Creality have seen that and fixed some of those issues and brought it out probably at a good time, especially with like you say, Bamboo being a smaller build volume. It's ticked all of the boxes for a lot of people, but in terms of build volume, it's not there yet. Obviously, that's something that we're going to look at in the future. But Creality have definitely covered off consumers' questions. That's what I'm seeing at the moment. And the bigger volume printers is what people like to do with cosplay and like yourself, building droids and stuff like that.
Exactly. I mean, I think this is, for me, this very much, of all the other printers that they had on display and lasers and other bits and pieces like that, this very much shone at Formnext for me. It was like, I've got to talk to someone about this printer because this is awesome. We knew it was coming. What we don't know was coming is things like the Sonic Pad 2, which is just, I think, been announced today. I noticed that you gave a like on that, and I was like, I don't even know about anything about that. And that's a quandary, because it seems to be that manufacturers are just chucking stuff out there just to almost kind of try and catch some fish around this, because we don't really know where things are leading to. And the super fast printers, Joseph Prusa came out with the Mark IV Prusa, and he was talking about he doesn't value speed over quality. And there is a fact around that actually, if you are printing manufacturing parts, actually making various things that are perhaps mechanical, then you're probably going to want to print at a slower rate than you would do super, super quick. But I guess there's kind of two edges to that. If it can give the same kind of quality ultimately, I think that's going to be an interesting quandary. But look, very quickly, Tony, Jeff, Chris, Matt German, 3D HP. Hello, Jerry. Hope you're well, guys. Yeah, a bit of an ad hoc one today because I kind of figured it was just worth, jumping on and looking at what we've got here. I'm going to play a very, very quick, because the video today is sponsored by PCBWay.com, as per usual. I'm just going to play a quick ad for that, and then we'll jump straight into the unboxing. Ready? Here we go. Our video today is sponsored by our friends at PCBWay.com. Are you in need of high-quality, affordable PCB prototyping services? Well, look no further than PCBWay.com. Their state-of-the-art facilities feature cutting-edge 3D printing, CNC machining, and injection molding technology to bring your ideas to life. Their experienced team of engineers and technicians are dedicated to ensure your satisfaction with every project. Plus, with their easy-to-use online ordering system, you can get your product started in just minutes. Visit PCBWay.com today and experience the best in PCB prototyping services. Thank you again to PCBWay.com for sponsoring this video. There you go. Look, that's how we do it. That's how we do it on this channel now. It's all slick. Well, we say that until we switch this on, perhaps, and then it all goes to, all goes to hell. We'll have to wait and see. So I do have in my possession here a big knife. And what I'm going to try and do here is put another camera into the view here. Oh, look at that. Kind of weird color. And there's a delay. Look at that. Weird. Okay. We're going to try then, in that case, that kind of didn't color up too well. We're going to move this around a little bit. I'm just going to open some stuff up here. We might be expecting somebody else coming in a little while as well. Just keeping an eye on the chat there. Okay, well, let's get straight on into it. Here we go.
Hey, Jerry. So I'm seeing with the CR-M4 is the same sort of print speeds as the Ender 5 S1 that I've got, which is pretty good for a build volume.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's really heavy. Really heavy. Insanely heavy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do very quick. I've just seen somebody dropping in, and I know it's his wedding anniversary at the moment, so let's just pop him in as well. There he is. What's this?
Hey.
You doing your nails?
Oh, I was bored. I mean, look at the stream I'm watching.
Wow, and here I was with my Tripod's Garage mug as well. Look at that.
I know, I saw that. I was like, I saw
He's representing you.
Good way to give a little.
So, what's your thoughts on this printer, John? By the way, just I'll get this open, but what's your thoughts on it?
No, well, me and Creality go way back. So, but put all those differences aside, I think the prosumer market is a niche market that needs to be explored, like what Bamboo has been doing. But Bamboo has also proven that you can have speed and quality at the same time. Because I was always the print slow and go. I mean, I love seeing layer lines with the big nozzles, but otherwise I don't want to see them. So otherwise, that's the way I look at it. And this thing does look like a beast. Of course, it was being compared to right away when I came out to the Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro Max, right?
Yep.
But there is some key differences. The only thing is when you have a bed slinger of this size, how fast can it go? Unfortunately, because you are printing at large volumes of space, right? So that's where I'm at with it. I'm curious. It seems like it has linear rails on the bottom, some high quality parts. It's got your chain guides. It just looks very prosumer-ish. So I'm excited that you got it because I know it's been a long wait. But
here's the first unexpected inspection here. We've got a kilo of filament.
Wow,
a kilo of filament.
Yeah, I have to say when I did the Elegoo, you got this little 20 gram whatever it was sample. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me.
You know what? There is nothing worse than just getting. I have got, and I can talk about that, but I can't talk about the specifics of it. I've got the new Anycubic printer, and I was desperate to get it out of the box, so I started filming for that already. And it didn't even have a spool. It was just this little bit, and I'm like, guys, seriously, if this is your first experience in 3D printing, any manufacturer out there, this is your very first experience in 3D printing, supply them with at least a kilo. Come on, it's not really going to cost them a huge amounts of money on that. Let's get people going here. Giving them less than a meter to print a benchy. And this is the funny thing. I think this is going to be another Benchy. I think the first print out of this is probably going to be a Benchy on this giant printer, or an owl or something.
Yeah, the Elegoo had the little Buddha, right? On this huge bed. I'm like, come on, at least supersize it.
So out of place.
Yeah, but no, I think there is a space for it. And I think Creality needs to retire a lot of machines. I was like, okay, I'm over almost 3.5 years in on my Ender 5 Plus, and they yet to make a new version of that. And I think that was such a great platform to do something with future improvements. I mean, crap, they still don't even have a silent board in that thing.
No.
I'm like, after 3.5 years, give me a break, But I think they could put think about clipperizing that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I have 3 CR-M5s, okay, and they are. Let's put this back onto this view. They are big printers, but I kind of feel from a 3D printer point of view, it's a big printer. It's a very, very large printer. It's frightening, actually, a little bit frightening. Anyway, I'm going to get it out of the box. Here we go.
Yeah,
talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I'm literally. I mean, you've been in my garage many times, there, Sam, and I'm running out of space. So it's literally when I accept a review, it's got to be out of the house most likely, unless it's something that could be utilized almost every day. It's going to be out of the house within 6 months.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
with these.
It's going to be donated to someone because it's and the reviews I do now have to be something that's a little bit different, and this is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I actually cannot get it out the box. There's a physical issue around actually getting the thing out the box.
Yeah, it's amazing how they can actually pack these. Like some of them, I struggle too. This foam is so well
compact.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and there's so much afterwards to try and get rid of.
I'm glad I've been working out. That thing is heavy, really heavy.
So is that about the size of the Elegoo Max box?
It's bigger. Honestly, it's bigger than the Elegoo Max.
Wow,
it's huge. It's really big.
So it's a bigger footprint.
Yes, it's ginormous. Honestly, it's
the actual size is slightly bigger on the X and Y.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be bringing other brands into the stream, but that's about the only thing out there to compare it to right now.
Yeah.
It's so big. That's what she said. My God,
you're still waiting for her to say that.
It's exactly. So while you're on, John, actually, I've got to tell you something that happened the other day. So let me set this down real quick. Hang on, let me put this up back over here. We'll turn off Mr. Cam as well for a second. Bear with me. So my wife comes home the other day, and she's been out with her mum, and she says to me, and bear in mind, I'm just going about my day. There's nothing special about it. Just going about my day. And she says, what do they call tripod? And you know what's coming, right? You know what's coming. Yeah. And I'm like, well, because he's got 2 crutches and 1 leg. Oh, right. And I'm like, this is, of all the things that's going on in the world out there, okay, we're talking about Long John Silver over here. It's the weirdest thing. But hey, you know what? It's all good.
You know what? It's all fun too. I mean, I get it still a lot. Eventually I'll do a video about the whole, 1 leg thing and the nickname, how that came about too. So, but yeah, that's hilarious.
My tripod. Am I getting out of breath? I'll tell you what, it is a sizable printer. It really is a sizable printer. Just talking about it very, very quickly. The unique selling points on this is 25 auto bed leveling. I mean, I hardly think that's a unique selling point, but it's a selling point nonetheless. Flexible PC surface and fast heating bed. Less wobbly with rigid Z-axis, color screen. It's an 800 watt industrial control power supply. And again, 450 by 470 in height. quality y-axis and linear rails, and they are beefy. Always handy way of printing. And the way they say that is on the side here, there is an Ethernet port. There is a USB port. It's got an SD card slot as well. And the Ethernet port, when I asked them about it, it was for networking other printers together. So if you're doing, I think, the same print across like 10 printers, you plug it into the Ethernet, you just send it from the Creality cloud. So that's the, CR10 on steroids over here. 800 watt power supply. That's right. Yeah, they've that's what's inside of this. I think that's good actually. But then again, isn't it normally 500 for a stock large bed printer, right? Something else I read along here, which is about the heat time. I think it's 160 seconds for that whole bed, and the bed's not small. And bear in mind, before on the S5s, you actually only had a real 300 by 300 part in the middle because it didn't heat the entire bed. So the good news is when I do my next video on this printer, I've also got an infrared camera, so I'll be able to show you exactly that it's heating the whole bed and not just heating a proportion of it all. So,
do they have zoning on the bed? I couldn't remember. I don't remember if it did or not.
I don't think they do. I think that was a BQ thing, wasn't it, with the switching and stuff?
Yeah, and then there was another printer before that did the same thing. Maybe it's a different one that's advertising that's new that has the dual zoning on the bed. But I thought about the 25 point mesh, and I'm like, man, that's pretty low. But then it's a solid mount, so it should be more than enough to compensate, to me, in my opinion, for that. If it was on V rollers or something that had play and wobble, then and as long as that sheet is perfect, then we're good.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things with Creality, though, isn't it? The beds are always, not quite machine quality. They're always kind of a bit up in the air.
They're stamped but not machined. That's the big difference.
I think you get what you pay for, John. And I think if you're spending, at one point, I think on pre-release, they were talking about $1,100. That was pre-release. I know I've seen it on 3D Jake, I think, for about £1,300 or £1,400. And again, like the size of this it is just ridiculous. That bed size is insane, absolutely insane. Again, we've got a drag train here. Again, I think that's for the Z. And then we obviously then we've got for the Y here, we've got this standard cord here. Joel Telling's favorite, of course, is strain gauge, and you would expect that on a printer like this, of course, which is good. And it almost feels like the Creality part on the front here, it feels like one of those printers that, a bit like the CR30 with the belt printer, it seems like they've just there's almost like a side part to Creality that have gone, we're going to do something a bit special here. It's kind of like the Renault Williams going off and building, an extra fast car or something. It's kind of got that vibe to it. It kind of feels like that.
I mean, it still has the Creality look, right? So, and I'm curious what their new. Sleeping. I don't know if you heard that. Sorry, that's on my phone. I'm on my phone. I decided not to even bring a laptop with me.
You're on. It's your wedding anniversary, right?
Yeah. We're just the local hotel. We're gonna just do some events around this area. So
that's why he was doing his nails, Sam.
Yeah. I gotta get some nice.
It's a special night.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Don't say where we're going.
So this is quite an interesting thing. Kuva, which is their little mascot. I don't think they do enough. They don't really do enough with this guy. I think they should do a hell of a lot more with it. We've got a couple of stickers in here, which I think if I was a business and I received a load of stickers, I don't know. I don't know if that's prosumer enough, but the manual is pretty. It's pretty big, but it is in multi-languages. So let's see how many pages we've got here. Creality Cloud, you can log in. Are we still happy with the Creality Cloud? I've kind of lost focus on exactly what's going on with that now.
I never used it.
No, I don't.
Okay.
When I saw the inherent risks of it, I was like, nope, sorry.
Okay.
No.
But
So,
you know, I mean, as long as they stop sharing files, right? That's one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
So we got two drag trains here, and it all seems very kind of standard CR10 stuff here. There's not a particular, other than the the y-axis is a massive stepper driver.
Yeah, I saw that. It's on the back, right? Is it dual belt?
Yeah.
It's dual belts. It's on. So it's the spindle or whatever is going through both ends of that stepper, right?
Yeah, it's dual belt. I don't know if you can quite see here. Let me try and move this around a little bit. As I say,
I'm trying to for pictures. I've seen people have seen a Ender 5 Plus. It's got it on both sides, both ends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you've got on this is you've got a belt that's driving the spinner here. So it's got almost like a I don't know what you'd even call that.
A pulley.
Basically, yeah, there's a pulley system inside of this, which kind of leads to a tooth gear, and then the two teethed gear on the outside here.
Oh, okay.
Are then sort of driving that. So the pressure for that belt. So there's 3 belts on that, in fact.
Okay, so you have a drive belt and 2 belts feeding your Y.
That's it, and it's so nice. The rails on this are massive. Like they are, I think it's something like 30 kilos. So when we were dealing with issues with like things like inertia and stuff like that, obviously you're still going to get that to a degree, but really and truly, it doesn't seem, I don't know, it just is. It is an absolute beast. But we have got a bit of movement in the bed. And again, that's on linear
that was
rail.
my biggest gripe with the Elegoo Max was that you got this big volume and you still have adjustable springs, 6 of them. As you're going to throw a kilo plus on there, those springs are going to compress over time.
Yeah,
and
we've got no springs on this. No, we've got no. We've got movement. Yeah, we've got movement, but that's very much down to the bed. And I've seen that on what you'll see with the new Any Cubics. You'll see that actually there's some points on the bed rather than the eccentric nuts that are actually causing the bed wobble. So it's again, but at least they've cut this one out. See, before when they've had a magnetic plate, you haven't been able to necessarily access the nuts. So you can on this, which is good.
It's not good not being able to access nuts. I mean.
Hang on a second. Let me just have a look at the chat here real quick. I don't even use it on the P1P. I'm not sure what that. The Chinese government's spy enough with TikTok. There you go. I did that on my Ender 3 Pro a year ago. No V wheels, only 1 rail. Now that's a good thing, man. Hope you're well. How much are you selling yourself for now, tripod? Wow.
How much am I? Wow. I don't have many parts left to sell. So I'm trying to keep them as much as possible. So
the question is, what's he offering?
Yeah, guys, all I gotta say is that every time I go into the hospital, it's like they want to take away something without giving anything better back. So,
yeah,
that sucks.
Yeah, but it's hopefully that's far and gone. But it's but no, it's I think that it seems like Creality is in the correct motion moving forward. I think they again need to get rid of when you go onto their site, it's just utter confusion with how many models they have. Get rid of your old stuff. Just get rid of it. This is our new line. Be done with it. You're going to get some hate from people, and you're going to get some kudos from others. Just deal with it. I mean,
so we've just tightened up. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 nuts that are on here that basically attach the bed to the linear rails, and now we have no movement on that, and that's pretty smooth. That is really, really smooth.
I like how far out those linear rails are too.
Yeah.
Like I say, I mean, if I was 30 kilos, I'd probably sit on this and go backwards and forwards like Jim did on his desk video. And no, mark my words, there are more desk videos coming out from many other creators now. So, he started a trend. So, jump on it.
I'm going to throw you a little idea in the chat, in a DM for you.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good. So, Ken, the usual kind of thing we've got here, we've just got 4 nuts that basically holds the Z. And then obviously we then have these. These are pretty colossal. They feel very light. These are aluminium rods here, which again will keep the top of the Z pretty damn flat. Now, one of the things that I was talking about earlier was the bed. And sure enough, it's 470, the bed. So being able to, so this is important. This really is important, because if you can do 265 on this, that means that you can do and print an R2D2 dome or any of those kind of astromech domes as well. And that's important in that one specific area. Now, if you wanted to print a wheel, which might be coming up in a video that's coming out soon, again, this printer delay has caused me more pain than just getting another review video out. I actually want to use this printer. And again, the LEG Nitrium 3, it was 420 by 420. Again, it's too small. The Anycubic, again, they were first to the party. And again, price-wise, for that Neptune 3 Max, that is an insanely cheap price for a lot of printer. So, as I say, everyone's playing a game out there. It's all marketeering. It's all about business. And if you don't understand how the business model works, you might have lost leaders. I can't see how some of these printing manufacturers are able to, make, like Sovol. Give you an example of Sovol. How are they able to make a 3D printer for $239, which is what the sale price was, that is in the same kind of class, but a budget version of Prusa? Like that kind of blows my mind. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. So let's have a quick look at this. I don't know. No, I thought we might have some flashy LEDs inside of this, but we don't.
It's got the status in the front, right? The LED status in the front.
That's it.
It's
the extruder that goes up to 300. It's the usual Sprite, I think they call it now, right?
Yeah.
The all metal hot end Sprite, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that.
I was given the option to recently to review their S1, and I'm like, it's been out for a while, so it's I turned down a lot of reviews just because of that, because it's like people don't realize when you're creating the content, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's time.
It's not like you just slap a video out there and you're done in 2 days. I mean, most of the time you're working on it for weeks, and when manufacturers reach out to you and say it's going to be there in a certain time, you kind of plan all these items that are coming in accordingly. And when one falls behind and they still want you to get that video out, it's like, because all of these companies have a release sequence, and they want those videos out at a certain time. It floods it, everyone gets the content out, and then you're done, right? But if yours is delayed, like Sam's was stuck in customs, so I mean, you can't really go with what the manufacturer wants, because he's got to get some content out. Show this machine, and then you could show. You could skip the build part, and you could go right into the print results and pluses and minuses.
Yeah, there's a lot of panic in the market.
Yeah, I can't tell you how heavy this thing is. It is really heavy, like really heavy. Matt said I was puffing and puffing my way through this a minute ago, but good God, I
wouldn't lay that machine on its side to do those bolts at all.
No, I mean, as I say, I'm. Whew, it's warm in here now. It's strange, man. But you're right, though. And I don't want to be. I've said it a couple of times on Jerry's stream and stuff. If you're not first with some of these things, you're last, and that is painful. A good example, and I was on a call earlier because, as you know, with Thangs.com at the moment, there's a P1P competition. And I'm a judge. Brian Vines is a judge, and Jim from the Edge of Tech is a judge. So we met today to talk about who the winners are going to be, and what the prizes are, and and we had this real kind of dilemma on how much effort has people put in, have they made the model, what's going on with this, what's going on with that. So, give you an example. I said to them, I put out a video last week. I think it got. I don't know, one video got 6,500 views. The other one got 5 and a bit, I think, so far, which is fair enough. Okay. Yesterday, and this is kind of sickening to a degree. I tweeted a little video of me basically removing the the first line, okay? The first line. That video's got 17,000 views on Twitter for me doing nothing. No sexing it up, no hardcore editing, no music. Me literally going, who else is guilty of doing this? You know, and it's just
removing a purge line. That was it.
Yeah. And it's observational humor that people are like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I do that. I'm going to make and this is what YouTube is very much all about. It's trying to get somebody to click a like, hit the subscribe button. How can you support? There's a thing on Instagram. How can you support a creator? If you can't do it financially, then at least give them a like, at least give them a sub. And that way, you know, at least you're helping out, whichever way you want to look at that. But it kind of made me a bit sick that literally such a short video. And I'm thinking, actually, do I pivot this a little bit more? Do I do more shorts? Because if the attention span is not long enough, then, you know, where do we go with this? And I was saying this to these guys earlier, and I'm just like, I just don't know what to do. If I've spent such a long time editing something, for days I will sit in this room and edit, and I'll do 2 or 3 videos, and I'm like, my brain is falling out of my head at that point. And man alive, it's bad. The attention span of people these days is very short. You're right, because you've got that moment. It's a bit like any company. Anybody that's trying to sell themselves, any company that's trying to sell themselves, you know, a lot of these, you'll see this a lot at the minute on Facebook. Creality have almost got a veil going across a screen or a printer or whatever. You know, it's this illusion to go, oh, well, what is it? Oh, I better put a comment to that. All right, you know, and it's all about engagement, and that is what YouTube is all about. That is what advertising is all about. And I think once you get the metric and you understand how that works, then actually, does your videos need to be top quality? Would I rather have somebody go to me, oh, well, I don't like the fact that you've got a microphone stand in your videos? Well, thanks very much for your comment, but at least I got a comment.
Exactly. I agree.
So I did. Yeah. Speaking of that, like, so I caught a person trolling with 2 separate accounts with the same person because it was kind of ironic. It was a troll on 2 videos at practically the same time. It was that furnace repair video, which was live. It's like, you need to work better on your engagement and your lighting or your microphone, and no reason to have a countdown timer. And I'm like, you realize this was a live stream in a dark basement with that I barely fit into in this space, and barely even a laptop. Yeah. You know, then I get a troll on another video right away for soldering. And I'm like, I said, no, do you need a pacifier for your next comment? Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty brutal out there. But again, if you're not first, you're last. Because, I mean, I understand that you get 2 rounds basically with these products. You get the first release, and then they do the reboot round where they try to engage again to help liquidate stock. So you get those 2 types of rounds with these, right? And you spend all these countless hours. You know, I put an average about 60 plus hours into one review, and then to only see it get a couple hundred views when you spend all that time editing, which you see people doing vlogging style with the camera, and then they get tens of thousands. I'm like, do I just approach it differently? You know, I mean, it's totally weird.
Yeah, it's hard to call because I know some of the content I've made, I've not expected it to be good for the community. It was just something quickly off the bat, and somebody had asked me a question, and rather than having to repeat it all the time on social media, I thought, you know what, I'll bring a video out. It's going to take me 2 minutes to create, a little while to edit and stick it out. And that's the one that's had the most hits for me. And it's crazy. So
what you're saying essentially then, Phil, is it's quick and dirty, right? That's what we like.
Yeah.
It is.
We all like that.
It's quick and dirty, and that is 100% the way forward. And of course, Maker's Muse was on Hot Makes a couple of weeks ago, and he said he did a positive video which got 40,000 views, right? Negative video on the same printer, 400,000 views across
the negative.
Yeah, they love it. I absolutely love it.
I have in my production schedule, because I actually have one, believe it or not. I just don't randomly do crap, which I do too. But yeah, it's people, if you see it on Twitter, the people that say they don't cause the drama actually cause the drama. right? Because it generates clicks and views.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with videos. You got people that, do this negative thing and it generates the clicks, right? A positive one. I mean, I have that negative video out there that everyone knows about, and that generated a lot of clicks, but it was also a personal purchase. It was my own, whether it was personal or not, but it's like, it was a Kickstarter and everything, and it just did not go well for me. So, and the response from the manufacturer wasn't good. So yes, it was a negative review. And that one, you get a lot of the hate clicks, but a click is a click, and it helps with the algorithm, whether they like it or not.
That's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So look, let's just go concentrate on this just for a second. It's big. I mean, even if it was in my studio elsewhere, it still would be big. There's no getting away from this. It is, I mean, there's even like a snow plow on the front of this thing. It is so savage. The Elegoo, here's the crack, right? Here's the thing. The Elegoo Neptune 3 Max, right? Slightly smaller than this one, a lot cheaper than this one. This thing weighs so much right now. It's got to be nearly 30 kilos. Honestly, it has to be. It's so heavy. So for a 3D printer as well, and I get this big and all the rest of it, it is a very, very solid printer. Despite the fact that it's wobbling because it's on the blue mat. But there we go. Even worse. Okay, we'll sort that out in a minute. But yeah, like I say, again, guess where this curly cords come from? Whose idea was that?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Bring back phone cord.
Absolutely. So we've got that next bit on. Let's just have a quick look at the instructions and just make sure that I'm doing all the things that I should be doing. What's all this? This is a warranty. Just so you know as well, because I want to be clear and open about things that has happened. Creality also sent me 10 kilos of their filament. So thank you very much for that. And again, there was, okay, so I'll break this down real quick. So as you guys know, probably, I was working with Larry, and a lot of people work with Larry. Larry moved on, and I was passed over, as you do. If you're doing YouTube and, 3D printers and you're known for doing what you're doing, you get passed over to someone that's a handler. And this particular handler was the best person that I probably have ever spoken to at Creality. They were on it. They gave me a roadmap. They gave me all this information. This is what you're going to get. This is the timescales. This is what we want. This is what we're expecting. Even this sheet that I'm reading out and been looking at here is from that person. Now, unfortunately, it's the way it goes. That person was probably too good for that role. Okay. So they then messaged me 2 weeks later and said, I'm really sorry, but I'm leaving this department. I'm going to another one. And I'm crying by that point, right? Because I'm like, what? Like, no, come on. This is like, surely not. And they went on and they gave me to somebody else. Now, this printer is going back to November. Okay. And it was supposed to be shipped in December. The launch was supposed to be in February. I was supposed to have enough time to make the content and do all that thing and have a big launch. Then they sort of said, well, now we've got bamboo lamps out here and now they're doing this and then all of a sudden things and the market share starts pivoting. And I swear down that that's the reason that these things have kind of been either sidelined or they've put their money and investment into other things. This printer is a game changer. I honestly, hand on my heart, believe that this has some serious stature over that S3 thing that they sent me, the Ender thing, right? Because that was an abomination. That was an appalling printer, appalling support, no information online. I wasn't given all the bits and pieces. The box was beaten up. So I've been passed around like a $10 hooker. And now at the end of this, I'm now given an opportunity to share information and want to work on something, and it's got to be credible. Any of this stuff has got to be credible. If the machine is bad, right? Why would I waste any of my time going, do you know what, guys? What we need to do is modify the firmware and put a new board in and change all the stepping motors out. And actually, it's not that printer. You don't buy that printer anymore. It becomes obsolete straight away when you start changing things out. This, though, on the other hand, it has the Sprite extruder. It has some behemoth fans on it. It has a massive power supply, a massive bed, And actually, you know, you can hear it in my voice, right? I'm passionate about it because I do honestly think that they should have spent a little bit more time promoting this. And, you know, they haven't sent it to many YouTubers. There's Frankly Built. Brian Vines has got one that I don't think he's unboxed yet. There are a bunch of people that I've never even heard of that are saying all sorts of obscure stuff about this. But, you know, again, it's all about marketing. And if your marketing goes out the window and you have a massive staff change and then you start talking about doing the K1 as a project, the K1 project, I think that's more than one printer. I think that's the new Clipperize. And don't forget, let's also say that Creality did drop Marlin recently. They're one of the biggest suppliers and supporters for Marlin, dropped. So, you know, people are funny. You know, you've got people that will follow Prusa to the end of the art, wait for him to part the sea and walk across, and hope that things are going to go well with that. Creality are the same, especially with their Ender Free range and the things that they did within the community. 100% is a fact. And then everybody's quite willing then to drop them at the end of it. And I think that's poor. I think that's bad. I think they need to probably get that focus back. Otherwise, it's going to fail, hands down. Why is everyone moving into the laser arena now as well? Why is everybody doing that? This is just a stream where I rant at things.
It's Tripod's fault, I think.
Well, I don't know how I became the laser guy, but we'll pivot back onto that in a few seconds there, Phil. But I think so. It's the same people that produce the hate about other printers are the ones that are again, like you say, parting the seas for others, right? So they say, "Oh, I'm not biased." No, you show your bias. You know, I have a little bit of bias against Creality because of the problems I've had. However, I will still give my honest thoughts. Like this thing looks amazing, and then because it's a prosumer and a bigger printer, and Sam just mentioned the fans, you're going to have people say it's loud. Well, it's going to be loud. Deal with it because you have a big blower just for your part cooling. You're going to have big fans in your power supply for 800 watts. That's not small. 230, 300 watt power supply. Guess what? You need all that cooling to make that machine last longer. And who do we got here? Oh, no, that's Sam's other camera angle. Sorry, not my phone. I'm on my phone.
Nothing too.
But so I think the reason why, Phil, that these companies are going, like you just saw on Twitter, that Elegoo is releasing one, is because you already have stepper motors and extrusions. It's easy for them to do it. You throw in a Gerbil board, you do these extrusions, you throw a laser module on, boom, you got a laser engraver for cheap that people will buy.
Yeah.
You know, and I will not review a laser now unless it has some key differences, because I'm not going to just do another clone of an atom stack. You know, so. But I don't know how I became the laser guy, but it is what it is. So.
That's good.
Well, it's better to be known for something than known for nothing, eh? That's what
I agree. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was tripod for your wife.
I think, to be honest, it's more my wife's mother. So you know, whatever. She may even be watching. I don't know. You know, whatever.
I'm still trying to shift the Cobra Max guy. I'm constantly getting contacted for stuff over that, even now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing to be involved with, though, Phil, to be honest with you. I mean, the Cobra Max is still good. You know, I read somewhere, I was reading something yesterday, and the guy was saying, you know, I've got a Viper. In fact, I think it was on one of my feeds. I've got a Viper, and it still works. It's one of the best printers I've ever owned. Yeah. Amazing. That is amazing. If that's the experience, and again, this is all about the experience. Can you imagine being that person that opens his first 3D printer up and goes, wow, what am I going to achieve with this? And then the thing doesn't work. It catches fire. You're jumping up and down because there's all these problems with it. And in the end, and this is probably one of the reasons why, I'm going to put that down for a second. This is probably one of the reasons why you're not seeing 3D printers inside of Walmart and Asda and Sainsbury's and places like that, because I think that if you put this on a real consumer level where you can put it into your shopping cart and pay for it at the till, or go to John Lewis and buy this, there's a reason that they're not there. And I believe, I might be wrong, I believe the reason is because there's too much stigmatism inside of this market that all of those printers will be returned. And they don't have the metric. No manufacturer would have the metric to go, yeah, and we're going to put $50,000-$60,000 or pounds worth of material onto the marketplace and probably have it all sent back to us because people don't know how to use 3D printers, and it is an art form. There are other manufacturers out there. Bamboo Lab is certainly one of them, where you're doing things that you never thought perhaps would be achievable yet. So multicolor printing in the way that they've done it. That's not to say that, Prusa have also got their palette. There's other different ways of kind of manufacturing things there, of course. And of course, ultimately, until somebody really comes out, I mean, even the Snapmaker J1, the box looks like it should be in Costco, right? That looks like you should go, oh, yeah, you know what, today? You know that Snapmaker? We should probably buy one of those because it's in Costco and it's on a special deal where it's $50 off. Let's go and pick one up. That looks like potentially it could be that kind of thing. Right. Let me just bring somebody else into the chat who is a man of the people, as we all know. Here he is. Oh, it's Matt German.
Oh, it's that guy. I don't see him yet. But I wanted to touch base where
Hey, Matt.
I was one of those people. Hey, Matt. One of those people that said a printer should work out of the box. And I shouldn't have to modify it or anything. The biggest problem that I saw with the Creality community, especially on their Facebook groups and forums, whatever, is just buy a replacement part or just upgrade it. Get a glass bed on it if your bed is, out of whack. And it's like, no, why should I have to? I mean, this is the problem with the community is that you are forced to repair it on your own and not involve the manufacturer to better their product. The more you push back on the manufacturer, the better the product will be for everyone. That's just because they don't want to deal with it. It forces change onto it. I mean, when I was the first video out about the power supply on that, and it was underpowered for the the Ender 5 Plus. Guess what? Finally, they put a quality power supply in there because it was too much for it.
Yeah.
But if you don't drive them, then you can see that this is a quality product just with the construction of it. I mean, it's for Sam to be all throwing dollar bills at it, dancing on the table.
I think Creality and
I think it's good. I really think it's good. I honestly think this is a good printer. The price is a little bit wild. I've got to be honest, but I think, it's a bit like, if you buy a special edition car, right, but there's only 50 of them, it kind of feels a bit like that. Like this probably won't be around for that long because they won't manufacture a ton of them because there's going to be a limited market. Same as what we've got with YouTube. This is such a niche market and there's a lot of people doing what we do. So if actually, to be fair with you, if you get a printer in for review and you get more than one and you get 5 or you get 10, you're doing something really, really good at that point. And I think that's something you've got to remember there, whoever you are, whatever you're doing. And if you're influencing, everybody influences somebody. If you put a comment on someone's, I've had a problem with this. I did one yesterday. It looks like you've got loose belts, right? Was the only comment. Couple of likes on that. That is influencing, whichever way you look at it. That's because you're influencing someone to do something for somebody to do at that particular point. It might be going in front of the camera or it might be just saying something on Facebook. Ultimately, though, I believe everyone should have a fair shout at it. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Sam, can you hook up the printer to? Thank you, darling. I see you have an Ethernet port on the side, so you can upload directly stuff to the memory card and then start automatically print or like a print farm.
So what I was told, if you plug this into the internet, you should be able to get on some sort of Creality cloud. Okay. So there's going to be something in there. Again, I'm not going to open it up because the idea of this today is just to get it printing. But when I was on site, I was like, what's that Ethernet port for? Because I was like, has it got a Pi in it? Has it got something, And of course, we know of old that Creality have got several versions of several things out there that are, what was that awful box that they sent you that they canned?
It was in the cloud box or something. I don't know.
There's been a number of them. There's been a number of screens. One of my top videos is, putting this screen on because it was terrible, and everyone's just like, oh, it's dreadful. I'll send it back because it's not good. Again, why would you want a product that is no good? The idea, though, with this, Matt, is that this is supposed to be print farm. So if you're going to be replicating the same thing over and over and over and over again, this is kind of that kind of printer. So from what I understand, that was the reckoning behind that. One of their key points of talking about stuff on here is you've got a USB-C port on the front here. You've also got the USB, like a standard USB-B, I think they call it, don't they? Ethernet
On the
port
side, also another one where the Ethernet port is. There's another port. Might be the power.
I'll tell you what, we'll have a quick look.
We want to see Sam get
Or the sticker. I don't know. Looks like a port.
That's another USB port there.
Yeah.
So we've got a USB port here, and from what looks like some sort of really nicely machined. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Neptune 3 Max had this beautiful kind of anodized, painted loveliness to it. And actually, I think, you know, if you were producing something this is kind of, it feels almost like the Mustang, like coming on a black on black Mustang, and it kind of, I love it. I think it's great. Honestly, I don't get excited that often about certain printers, but
it does have that industrial look from mine.
Yeah, which is what it should do. Which 100% should have. Should have that.
Have you got any projects for this, Sam? Planned projects for this?
Yeah, I have. So we've got. You might have seen today, Ivan Miranda's come out with a go-kart. 3D printed go-kart, which is a Lego based thing. Matt Denton also did a similar one. I've got something in the works that unfortunately, we've got Star Wars Celebration next week. And then after that point, you'll then start seeing some stuff on the Death Racers, and you'll start seeing some more things on the bigger projects that I've got going on. Death Racers, you could probably look forward to having some sort of flipper device on the front. And what I'm going to be trying to do is a world record attempt with a 3D printed miniature car. So
would I be allowed to put on a Death Racer a Dremel?
No, because it's not 3D printed.
Well, a motor I can put in front but spins, right?
If it was if on the front, if you had a 3D printed thing, okay. So in theory, if you printed something like carbon fiber or something along those lines, which was a disc that span, you could do that.
All right. Just be careful that you don't ram somebody with it.
Well, the kind of way I'm looking at it there, Matt, you know, besides me selling my body parts, is that, you know, it's, if you insert something within the 3D printed plastic, that might be legit, because, I mean, we are using metal and stuff within this. So, I mean, there could be a little bit of a clause there, you know, a spinning wheel with inserted metal. I'm not saying that's legit. Maybe there could be a special weapons class for this event.
I love the fact, here's the thing, right? The theory of the Death Races is very, very simple, right? 100%. Who have been the last two main winners, and what versions did they have? They had version 1s, okay? They had version 1s. So 100%, I would say the version 1s are probably, for whatever reason, maybe because they're a little bit slower. We saw people go off the line and flip straight away. The head was knocked off. That was the end of them. That was the end of their game completely. Or even some people who had printed in ASA, just by picking it up, it broke.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, I did a wheelie with all ASA. Almost my whole. I'm like, okay, I looked at. I hate to say it, Polymaker. I looked at your chart. It was one of the best materials to use, and I remember just tightening down a screw. I heard a crack. I'm like,
hey, George.
Oh, no. And then when I just gunned it a little bit, did a wheelie, the whole top half broke. I'm like, are you kidding me? But I did redeem myself with the speed round, so at least I won that.
Absolutely. But what did you win?
Nothing. Just like I didn't win anything for the durability round for Merc. That's amazing.
You guys should have something like a prize, like get your weight in beer or something.
Don't worry, man. I'll print out my own trophies since no one will do it for me. Give it a leg up or something. I'll print that type of trophy. But no, it's honestly, it's even if I did win, I would push it to the second place person, because I'm part of the event. It's not meant for me to win. So
So what I'm saying now sounds terrible, but I've done some mushrooms.
You've done some mushrooms.
Oh, I see.
Oh, I did too.
This stream is about to get very, very freaky. That's what I was thinking.
They're pretty cool.
When I was 13.
I'm sorry, but I'm always careful online.
Yeah.
Yes, I played much
With a
of
face
Mario.
like that, Matt, I'm sure you have to be.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I got to think about the next Death Racer build. So
We're all thinking about it, mate. We're all thinking about it. What I'm thinking about is why this screw won't go through. It's here we go. We're there.
Not a line problem.
Thanks, Matt.
No, but I mean, it's
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
yeah, I'm wondering about the PSU in there. If that's a Creality branded power supply, or if it's up. I mean, or
I think I should be able to have a look at that. I've got some weird noise on my speaker
yeah,
there.
you got some crackling.
yeah.
Is that for me or is that for you? For me, is it?
Yeah, it's you, Sam.
I'm getting crackling from you, though. Okay, 1 second. Bear with me. Let me refresh. Here we go. Okay. Are we back?
Yep.
Are we back?
Yeah. Yep.
Good. We got no crackling here. Custom creation. Sam, how's it going? Tripod's Garage. What are we doing for Earth this year? Well, interestingly enough, I did get an email just last night from Chris from Earth, and he was asking me all kinds of details, and I supplied him with those details, and it looks like there's going to be some really, really good things happening with them. We are going to be part of the event this year. So we weren't last year because I think there was a little bit of a concern around the poor choice of words that I used to name the Death Racers. So having a good conversation with him about it this year. It looks like there's going to be some good stuff happening, and we're going to do the races around the talks, so a talk won't overlap the race, if you see what I mean. And I think that's important because people are missing out on stuff, and I think it needs to be one of those, or they would like it to be one of those events that people won't miss. Hey, this is kind of weird. Like, what reason do you think you'd need to have this tricorder to be?
Yeah, it's like.
Is it a telephone call like an old fashioned?
No, it's got more pins. I think it's got six leads on it. Yeah, because
Hey, that would be cool.
that is what 8, and for RJ45, and then the telephone is 4.
I've got some crackling back again. Am I still crackling? Or
Yeah, I had mine on mute, so the whole time that you were talking about the Death Racer, so it's not me. So here, why don't all your guests mute and you talk and see if it's one of us.
Hello. Oh, well, I can't hear anything now because no one else is talking, so that's good. It's freakishly quiet, though. Everyone is crackling. How strange. Okay. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next?
Get smart. The phone shoe. Agent 99. She was so hot. For anyone that's watched that old sitcom.
Agent 99.
But yep.
It rings the bell, but I might have seen the show. If it's from the 70s, 80s, I've probably seen it.
Yeah, it was probably one of those shows that would be canceled today. So, any of the shows from the
Cheesy?
70s and 90s are easily cancelable now. Too many feelings would get hurt. So.
They were actually wanting to bring out a Jurassic Park series, I think.
I still haven't seen the last Jurassic movie.
I didn't see it at all, the last two. So I want to see the new Matrix movie, the fourth one.
Oh,
It's been out for a while.
Yeah, I don't. I'll just leave that. The way that I usually judge movies is if I want my time back after watching it, and I definitely wanted my time back after watching that. So, and I'm a big fan of B low budget type movies. I love them. They're just like corny out even ones that are not low budget, just strictly entertainment purposes only, like Battleship, Pacific Rim, movies that Kill Bill, whatever. Yeah, my wife says Kill Bill. She loved that series. She just said that in the background there. It's those movies that I'm there just for the entertainment, not for the realism effect. And when I watched the last Matrix, I'm like, this is just, I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the second one. The second movie.
I thought the third one started the downward spiral into the fourth.
So there are some one or two kind of little weird bits and pieces on this printer that I wasn't. Say again, mate.
Your mic is getting worse, Sam. I don't know if it needs to be charged or.
No, that's really strange. I'm getting loads of crackling off you. That's one of the weird things.
So we all muted, and you were still crackling. So.
Oh, okay. Let's try and add and re-add it then. Bear with me.
Because you guys could. So Matt, talk to us real quick about your lithophanes or something, because.
Oh yeah, I can show off some of my lithophanes. Well, I made one not too long ago.
Okay, I think I might have solved it, possibly.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And a little bit of crackling still, but that's what it is.
Okay. That's actually a painting from a famous person. What's his name? Oh, I forgot the name. I have to check it up. It's a very famous Russian painter. And I made this one, a fish tank, basically.
Mm.
Yeah.
An Egyptian theme. Here you go. That should make you a little bit homely.
All right. That is cool. Hey, we can see that Sam's big head fits in there perfectly.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, I've been taking it a little bit slow with lithophane making because I ran out of filament, white filament. So I started printing some other stuff, like mushrooms.
Is this on the bamboo, Matt?
No, on the G-Tech.
Okay.
And it splits in different. The colors split up in different parts.
Right.
So
okay.
you glue
Yeah.
them together.
You put them together. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very happy how it came out. But the wood filament PLA is such a pain to print with.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried it on a 0.4 nozzle, but I had to crank down all the way down to 0.1 just to get it flowing.
Mm-hmm.
If I increased the layer height, it would just get clogged.
Yeah. Yeah, it splinters as well.
Yeah, but the G-Tech filament, wood filament is pretty fine powder, and I don't see any splints in it because I keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Okay, chaps, just very quickly, I've got a slight dilemma. There does not appear to be a 220 to 110 switch on the printer.
Oh, no.
So
That normally
do we
means
just
auto
turn it on and see
select.
what happens?
The Cobra Max didn't, Sam.
That well, I mean, it might be smart enough in that case. Things are.
Take that
Oh, hang on,
risk.
John's coming back in. Hang on a moment. Hello, sweetheart.
Did that help with you guys with the crackling when I left?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% now.
Yeah, my phone was heating up. So, all right.
Okay,
It was
dude.
odd
Right.
because I muted and I still heard the crackling. So,
That's weird.
you know.
Yeah, so I don't appear to have a power supply switch. Now, I just want to make sure because I don't want to be just turning stuff on.
Yeah, it could be auto sensing.
Willy-nilly.
If it's a mean weld or auto sensing.
Okay, well then it may well be. Okay.
Do we gonna get blue smoke or not? Any
Well,
bets?
no, that's my streams that happen.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're here.
But I am participating.
Chances of
so-
having blue smoke? Well, you're giving advice.
Yeah, see.
Oh, God, that is incredibly heavy, guys. I can't even tell you how bad that is. Now then, USB card. Don't tell me they didn't supply me with a USB.
Isn't the one in front of you?
Power supply. Some little snippies. Nozzle unblocker. This thing is another nozzle, quick heating nozzle. Keyboard, cuddly toy, Creality warranty. Stand up
Dave,
again.
I know that with mine, they say that customs can take them out, from what I've heard.
Maybe that's why it took 40 days to get here.
They're actually they're removing all the USBs.
That might be the. I mean, it didn't look like it'd been
Why
doesn't
you
look like
think-
it's been unboxed.
Why are they
Sensitive
removing all the
information.
USB? Oh,
Does it have a slot for SD?
It has a slot for USB.
Oh, just for USB, but not SD?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering if in the manual, if it has you doing it just off the computer or they got rid of the SD.
It may well do. Yeah, it may well do. It does show. Let's have a quick look here. I mean, there is literally no. Usually, what you get is like a card and then the SD.
Yeah.
No magic pixels. Fingers crossed. Okay, good. Hang on a minute. Let me just see what we can find here. Base components, filament. And I mean, that is still, USB flash drive, number 14. I will just...
Is it not in the box still? I have almost thrown out, I can't tell you how many times unboxing, and I'm like, where did that go? And it's like in between foam or something.
On Bing
Well,
collection day.
usually they'd be in one of these
and the-
baggies. That's the usual part. Nope.
you have another spare laying around?
Well, it's also pre-sliced for the demo if it's on there.
Yeah, true.
No, nothing there, I'm afraid. All right, well, should we switch it on and see what happens? Now, my camera might go off for a second because it's on that same power supply, but...
Oh, but Sam, where are you? I can't see you.
Yeah. Nice.
Good. At least.
have you trapped a wire under the printer? I think I have. I may have done, mate. You tell me, have I?
So was this Sprite just put on with the normal 3 or 4 screws?
The Sprite was already on there, actually.
Oh, okay.
The only thing I had to do, if you might have noticed there, is just play around with the eccentric nut,
Okay.
which was all good. So there are no files on here at all, obviously, because why would there be? We are reading minus 15 on the nozzle, though, which is worrying.
Ooh. Yeah. Might be a loose thermostat or pinched thermostat.
Well, Jose, I've had where customs just almost all the packages I've received for reviews in the last like 3 months, 4 months have all been ripped open and had a custom label on it, whether the box looked new or not. They've been really tearing through it, at least for the U.S. through custom stuff. But I have to say that the Quakey Cloud laser that I got, that thing just like shipped within. It was weird. I got it in like less than 2 weeks, while other things get stuck in the port for months.
Okay, so kind of interesting here. I think we're running Marlin, which is what you kind of would expect. On the tune, you can PID tune this directly from the handset, which is a nice one. You can play around with the acceleration settings. And again, these are all things that you could have always done if Marlin had been opened up on the majority of these printers. Things like max speed, max corner, steps per millimeter. There's even advanced settings here, so you can do things with your home offsets. You can set all kinds of stuff here. CR touch testing. If you so wish to be, you can have it as automatic. You can have it as protrude or retract, which is nice. Also leveling data, it gives you the points as well, which again, we would have seen, remember on the CR6 Max, or sorry, the CR6 SE, where they had Sebastian basically created a whole ream of being able to, set things from that. So it kind of feels a little bit like that, but not as refined like those guys had it. We can PID tune as well, which is nice. And yeah, we still got a minus 15 on that hot end. So I'm just going to try very quickly just to see if I can hit some.
I wonder if Sebastian's and company's community firmware is like part of that because of that. You put that PID tuning in there, and they did the mesh leveling boxes, and
could be. So I've just set that to 200, and we are not moving at the moment. But the bed is. That kind of sucks. So again, we've got this drag train. Let's just check that.
Well, for the most part, usually the bed heats up first and then the nozzle. I wonder if that's also the case here.
Especially in wintertime, I heat up my bed like for 5 minutes before I actually switch on the hot end.
We got thermal runaway.
Oh, you do? So
that sucks.
So on this, there are a couple of points to probably look at. There is kind of like a daughter board on the back of the printer here, which again, I repowered it and I kind of gave them a little bit of a knock. Sometimes you might find that kind of works. There's also another kind of motherboard or daughter board basically behind here as well. So you've got, this is one of those things where if it's not point to point, and then there's these little multi-points, you do occasionally get quite a few failures. And that's something that I've kind of noticed a lot with kind of budget printers. But you would have thought for the money, this would have been A1 and tested and stuff. So that's a bit disappointing. But again, I'll just keep prodding around and see what we get.
Well, on the plus side, you got the thermal runaway error. So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's something that now you don't need to test. So
absolutely.
Yeah, this is very important too.
I mean, it's
you don't want to burn down your house.
Oh, that was my wife did a little chuckle. I'm like, yeah, there's a certain manufacturer, honey, that was known for that. But that was also pretty much in the infancy of 3D printing too. So, I mean, you still had printers 2 years ago that didn't implement thermal runaway.
Absolutely. Bear with me. I might have done a little Sam mistake here with this.
Oh no!
There's a plug I haven't plugged in.
Well, He went through all the stages of denial and acceptance in a matter of seconds, everyone. So I'm gonna have to take some more Excedrin. I know. Well, my migraines, they don't go away that easily.
Sorry, did he just say X-Lax?
Oh no, that sometimes that's needed. No, that's migraines. I get the morning migraines where you can feel like in your eyeballs. That's always fun.
Good news. Now I've got more fans on. Good news, I'm now reading at 19 degrees as well. So happy days are here again, friends. So we know that's definitely going to work now. Where would we be if there wasn't a little bit of drama in this? Let's go home, shall we?
So, yeah, for all of your viewers, Sam, why don't you show where that connection was that you missed?
See, you see this here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Z. What do you call this? Like a track rod or whatever? It's for all
drag
the
train.
So the drag chain was basically right up at the top here, and it needed to be plugged in. So it's quite a significant part that I missed there. But, you know, hey, what can you do? What can you do? So the next thing we're going to have an issue with, of course, is the potential of me having a USB here that I can plug in and actually do a single print on this, which is kind of annoying. So I'm just going to home the Z and I'm going to home the X and Y. And it's also asking for a Wi-Fi here as well. So, you know, if I had Creality Cloud on something, then potentially I could maybe do something with that. What can you do? RTFM. Yeah, well, I did have a little look. I did have a little look. This is cool.
Oh, at least that, like I said.
Hello, is that Creality support? Yeah, I've just not plugged the cable in.
No connection under this number.
Why are we sending printers to that guy? I have no idea.
You get the modem noise, you know.
Yeah.
Handshake noise.
Okay, so
I gotta be listening about
56K
15
modem,
minutes.
right? In the
So what I'm going to do quickly now is while I'm on here, I'm also going to have a look at the Creality website and see if they've got any models to download.
That's a massive bed slinger, man.
I mean, it's quite quiet. It is quite quiet.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be like the Elegoo, where when it's idle, it's very quiet, and then as it starts ramping up, I mean, even though Elegoo was still pretty darn quiet, but again, you got a massive power supply in there, 800 watts. I mean, what? The fans on there are 30 plus millimeters in size. Has to be, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the fans are significant. And I don't know why they need to be significant at this particular point in time, because, to be honest with you, there's not a lot going on with it. Is it clipperized? No, it's not. It's going to definitely be definitely running Marlin at this point in time. Could it be clipperized? Probably. And again, until I pulled a few things apart here, we're not going to know. So let's just have a look at the 3D printers here again. Again, it's one of those ones that's so new that they're not even advertising it.
Wow.
M4.
So how much that one sells for again? 1,300?
I think it is about 1,300, yeah. Okay, we do have a user manual, and we do have a slicer software here as well. And Ubuntu as well, which is good. Free in stock at the Micro Center. Okay. So CR-M4 retail right now on the Creality website, if you were to buy it now, ladies and gentlemen, is $1,099. Or 4 interest-free payments on Klarna of $274. So again, once again, we've got a large format printer here, massive Y-axis, pumping that that badass bed backwards and forwards. You can print via the USB or USB-C cable. There's cloud-based printing as well. Maybe that'd be quite a cool thing to try. Is there an app?
Well, Keith, to answer your question about comparing this to the LU, it's honestly, I would say they're two separate animals. Okay, you got a budget-friendly printer when it comes to the LU, and then you pay for. You look at what this thing is offering. With the linear rails are not cheap at all.
Even massive as well.
Yeah,
look at the size of them; they're big.
So I was actually looking at doing a conversion on mine to linear rails until I saw the pricing of it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no one's going to want to even watch the video with how much these things are going to cost, and then modifying the build plate to accept them. And then you got, they both have direct drives, but that Sprite hot end is better. You could, put you can make it all metal with the LU, but then you're limited in the firmware to the temperature anyway. With this, you can see that the quality is there at least from what I can see. You pay for
there's a couple of extra bits as well, John, because you can plug a camera into the USB port and it would do time lapsing. I don't know how that's recorded, and again, we're going to kind of find that out. There is also on here an open source plugin, and I don't quite know what that means, or does that mean you can whack a laser on this thing or whatever? I don't know, but they seem to be trying to gear towards that whole situation. The firmware as well. Again, it doesn't really take you anywhere. I'm clicking the buttons and it's just taking me back to the products, which is sort of weird. And that's on the Creality store. So you would have thought it would have taken you to a GitHub page, or at least something like that, which is a bit of a shame, really. CR Care, which is apparently something new. Again, you hit that, it goes back to the original page. So long gone are the days where, like I said recently with that End of 5, it's still not, they still haven't managed to get this sorted out. So,
hey, Sam, measure that overhang a little see how far that bed sling goes in both directions there.
So that's 80 centimeters from the back of the printer to the front here. It's significant. It is significant. And again, the bed is not. We've got 0.6 to 1.2 in each corner. So there, the bed. You could blame. It's not tragically out by 1 millimeter or 1.1 millimeter. It's not horrendously out in this particular case. So I'm quite happy with that. Let's have a look at the Z offset. Now, again, you would have thought Z offset, you would probably get it to the base and then up and down. It doesn't do that. You kind of got to start printing really before you can start messing around. And it does it in increments of 0.5. So Phil, you won't be happy about that.
No.
Yeah.
Feeding and return. It does give you an auto. That's kind of cool. I like that. Allows you to feed. That's hit the heat. So what I'm doing as well is I'm just whipping on Creality Cloud on my iPhone, and I kind of figured that perhaps because I haven't got the SD card, which quite rightly so, maybe I don't have that because it was taken out of customs. Maybe that's why it's taken 40 days to get here, because of that particular thing. I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't know how to use Creality Cloud either because I've never used that either. What does Keith say here? I didn't notice the rails. Mate, honestly, the rails... So let me just go back on this. The rails are, I think, what sets this part from, if you were looking at a cheap printer, I would say 100%. If you're after a small printer, which is cheap and it's your first one, Soval, SVO6 or SVO Plus, okay? 100% hands down, cheap, efficient 3D printer for the money. If you're looking for a large format printer, Elegoo, the Neptune 3 Max is a phenomenal printer. This isn't like those two, though. This is something a little bit more special. I don't want to go QVC on you and start, upselling stuff. And for a limited time only at the Micro Center, it's $999. Facts. It is a different animal. And, again, all metal hot ends being a plus. It doesn't heat to 300 degrees. It is a massive, massive size. Don't custom say what they take out. No, they don't. They just delayed my entire order for 40 days. And I'm fairly sad about that. But, whatever. And again, I can't just go on to Creality's website and then download those files. If I could download the G code and just go, done, happy days. But no, I can't. So we're already at 200 degrees. So I'm just going to whip that hot end, feed that through a little bit. Not doing any. Oh, okay. We've got to do. Oh, this is cool. Feed, Winston, feed. There you go. Job done. That was easy. That was really easy.
All right, everyone. I gotta get going. So,
come on, John.
Yep, we got activities to attend to.
Oh yeah.
Gonna do some shooting.
They do what?
Gonna do some shooting on the range.
No, I'm gonna wait for Sam to come into town. I'm gonna have to renew my conceal and carry for my pew-pews. So,
all right.
But yeah, when Sam gets into town, that's usually when we
look at this.
Get the
lock and load, baby.
Oh, there you go. Yep, and I'm a wanted person because now I have a so-called not one that's I purchased it before they tried to ban them, so I'm still good. So I just knew it was going to happen, so I purchased it before that happened. So I've been what they call in the States grandfathered in. So, but because that was one of Sam's favorite pew-pews to shoot. So
it certainly was.
But it's all a matter of, you don't blame the tool, you blame the person that's using the tool. That's the way it always is. And here in the States, they don't look at it that way. So not to be too take over the channel at all, but I don't blame the fork for me being fat. I'd love to do that. So, but so. Yeah, now we're gonna go to what's called medieval times and watch some fake jousting and sword fighting. So,
is that what they call it?
Yeah. But you do get to call the servers wenches. So
really,
yeah. So,
well, you never know. As it's your anniversary, you might be in like later, and you might be getting some sword swallowing. So who knows? I don't care that she's in the background. She knows me by now.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Have you met me? Have you met me?
Do you hear?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, honey, I want to stay on the stream a little bit longer. All right.
All right, John. Best of luck, dude. Take care.
Take care, John.
All that stuff. So we'll talk to you guys later.
Take care.
I'll expect a message later.
Yeah, I'm sure. So later, everyone, have fun. Looking forward to it.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
So I'm just trying to work out here how to get this Wi-Fi working. So I've just hit restore network. Again, I've never used this stuff before, so I don't really know how that's going to pan out. It does give you, and this is a feature that I've been looking for since Prusa always gave you the total printing time on that machine, and the old style Marlin based printers used to give you, and still can give you, the total print time. This is at 0 at the moment, which is nice to see. So it's not like it's even been tested. So, hey, dude, how you doing? Oh, look at that. We got some, look at that. There he is.
Hey.
First player is here. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate.
Here we go. See you later, John. Good luck later. So I don't know how I'm going to print from this, if I'm being completely honest with you. I can't download the models. I try to restore the network. Anyone got any clues on that? Can I add a printer via Creality Cloud? How does that work? Creality Cloud. Okay, so I can scan something. I can log in. Yeah, that sort of sucks that there's no SD card. That's it's kind of annoying because we could have been way underway by now.
Yeah.
But
I've seen
again,
it one time happen that they put an SD card in the screen.
yeah, but it's USB that it's looking for.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's sort of the problem really. I also don't seem to be able to get a Wi-Fi network up on this thing either. It gives you a Wi-Fi reset, but it doesn't really tell you how to set that up. You can turn the Wi-Fi on and off. So actually, I'll tell you what, I wonder if I look on my phone, if it's got a Wi-Fi connector to it. It does. Look at that. And what's the password, do you think?
1, 2, 3, 4.
0,
Nope.
0, 0.
You reckon zeros?
Oh, 4 zeros, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it needs a few more than that. Let's have a look in the manual, shall we? Yeah, I've got the app, but what I'm thinking is, do I need to connect via Wi-Fi to it in order to, like some of these like light switches and stuff, you need to log into it, then add the Wi-Fi code and yeah, okay. So dear users, first page, by the way, we don't have a USB flash drive. So it says download the latest Creality boxing information, get this, get that. Here's the Creality Cloud QR code. So we already downloaded that. What we need to find out then is how do we start printing? Right, Creality Cloud. But again, it's all about being able to connect. Doesn't tell me. So you can turn it off. So let's have a look then. Let's have a look, see what we can find. Creality Cloud box password. How to set up your Creality box quick and easy. Creality box 2.0 user manual. Here we go. So I'm guessing this Creality box manual doofer is going to be kind of I mean, even that has an SD card.
Just trying to find something online for you.
Mini SDs. It does not have. Hang on a minute. Connection via this. Connection via that. Connection via the cloud. Here we go. Add device. Scan the. Add device and add Bluetooth networking. Add device. Okay. This is how technical things have been. I've become now this old man that's now trying to work out how to scan. This is like when I go to the checkout at Waitrose. Nobody seems to know what the hell's going on. I mean, to be fair, there is something to scan here. So how do we do that on here? Creality Cloud. Print different. Skip that. Get rid of that. Log in. Continue. We're logging in. Now, scan something. Here we go. So now we're going to create and scan a code. So there is a code on the front.
What's happening if you lose the code?
I don't know. Creality device, finish. If you do not want the device to be searched by others, you can turn off the device's hotspot. Not closed yet. Okay, we're going to add that then. Hang on, is that going to be that easy? So I can now see the printer in Creality Cloud. Interesting. I can now also add a camera to it, and I can add some settings. So I can now configure my network. It now wants me to do a whole bunch of stuff, so we'll do that. This is the funny thing. This is Creality's ecosystem. This is really what this is all about now. It's all about getting in on their ecosystem and understanding what it's really all about. And do you want that is the other thing I would say. Okay, so it wants to log on to that. So let's put the password in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's going on?
Sorry. That was my dog just wagging on the tail.
The current mobile phone has no network connection. Okay, so let's connect to the right network connection because it's different, of course. And we're going to connect it to router. I hardly knew her because that's my Wi-Fi name. Sorry, chaps. This is a slightly longer stream than I thought it was going to be. Okay, let's log back onto that then and see if we can get into.
Carl, I wish, Carl.
Switch to Wi-Fi. Done. Shared. Using the app. Attention, the mobile phone has no network. Please connect to your usual Wi-Fi mobile data or return to the Creality Cloud app.
Well, I've just been ordered to do some food.
Of course you have. All right, Matt. Well, nice to see you, dude.
Thank you for letting me come on.
No worries.
Bye,
I'll probably see you later on.
Oh, yeah. Jerry, sure, later.
Yep.
All right. See you all later, Jerry.
See you later, dude. Take care.
No.
Okay,
See you later.
so
Take care.
we are now verifying and connecting in the next 27 seconds. So it does seem like it's potentially scarily simple to connect your phone to your printer now. And again, this is something that, I hate to say it, Bamboo Lab really got that down. Like that whole ecosystem there that they've got going on is insane. This is a little bit more complicated, but yeah, it's not. So I can connect apparently via a WAN. So maybe I'll do that instead. So look, what have I got? So let's plug the Ethernet cable in there and see what we get from that. Okay, let's give that a go then. Let's give it a few seconds to wake up. I think we're there. Retry. Okay, wide settings. Enable Wi-Fi. That's all on. Creality Cloud. Go. 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 Device is offline. Device is online. Enable WLAN. Creality Cloud needs to enable Wi-Fi network functions so that it can connect to the Wi-Fi. Okay, so yes, that's fine. Everything else is on. Okay, wired. On my phone, yes. It's very weird. It doesn't seem to want to do anything. The wireless network is on, mobile data is on. All right, let's try the wireless. It's even saying the same thing as well. Yeah, it's slightly more complicated than I think I thought it might be. Let's turn the Wi-Fi back on then. Let's see if we get anything from that. Let's connect back to the hub. See, this is where we get to that point where, what do you remember when you used to be able to get the old SD cards and you can just plug the SD card in the side of your printer? Oh, they were the good old days, weren't they, before the mobile phone technologies?
Yeah.
This device is still offline. Okay, let's try this again. My phone's frozen now.
Carl's asking if it's got a drawer for the tools.
Does it have a drawer for the tools? No, it does not have any drawers for the tools. You would have thought it would have been nice if this snowplow at the front here would have come out and done something. But no, it doesn't have anything quite like that, I'm afraid. Okay, so let's try and re-add this again. Okay, it's thinking about it. Creality device. Don't close it yet. Finish. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to go back into this again. This bit's kind of frustrating, if I'm being completely honest. Configure your network. Let's go wired this time. Automatic DHCP. Well, this is better than we got last time. Connecting. We've got 89 seconds for connecting on this now. Again, hello. Your current mobile phone has no network. Please connect to your normal. Oh, God, here we go. Okay, we can do that. Back to that. This is part of this because obviously I'm connecting to the printer, and the printer obviously has no network. And hello, now we've got a Creality. Oh, we're online. Look at that. We are online. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, so what can we actually do from this UI then? We can slice a file. We can select a file. We can set the temperature. So hang on then. Yeah, so right now it's showing me, if I change that on the app, it's now set it on the, oh, that's freaky, isn't it? All right, well, let's get the hotbed up to temperature then. Let's whack that up to 60 as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, there you go, straight away. So I'm guessing that this is going to be remote. Again, I've not played around with the Creality Cloud stuff or any of that kind of business before. So that's done. Happy with that. Now then, how do we go back? Because ideally what you'd like is to be able to just select a file and hit it and go, right?
Yeah.
So we're online. So if you plug I'm guessing a webcam into this, you're going to be able to view the camera view as well. So very similar to another well-known app we've been working with. You've got a pro version of this as well. There's a dashboard here as well. Again, it gives you all your printing statistics. That's been quite well thought out. And your printing history. So if we explore then and see what we can find here, let's see if we can find, what should we print? It's got to be a bench, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Or boat, as they call it.
I wonder. No, it's called a benchy.
Cool.
It's okay. So we can select that. We can see the benchy that's there, and we can. I think. Did we download that? Click OK. I wonder if it downloads to my phone or if it downloads to the cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's downloaded to my phone now. That's 10 meg of benchy there. Thanks for bearing with me if you're one of those 22 people that have sat on this stream wondering what the hell's going on. This has been, this is unexpected, to say the least. I'm hoping that whatever that device is in there, this Creality Cloud nonsense, I would hope that it has some sort of formal SD card in there. So if we add that to make, we can add that to the benchy, can we? Tag model group. No. Discard. How do we add that? Okay, let's go back. Workbench. Okay, so we go into Workbench. We hit the printer. We go select slice. My uploads. Cloud slicing. Slice. Let's try again. That's weird. Surely it gives me that back again. Benchy. Yes. Benchy. Okay, what about if I hit this? Copy link. Take pictures. It's not particularly clear on how that works. I just want to print the thing. I've downloaded it. So if I go to Workbench, I'm online, TFT, printer. It's also now suggesting that I can do an update on the printer firmware as well. I can't select the TFT cod because... Hang on, what the hell's this? There's something on the... There's something on the... Oh. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this is. I've got things beeping at me. Right, click yes to heat and change filament, or no to stop. Okay. Okay, we're good. Print. Processing, please wait. I wonder if that's just the G code for a filament change that I've managed to select there. Because it definitely hasn't run out. Okay. That sucks. Okay, back again. Let's see if we can printer. Select slice. Slice. This is not that user-friendly, to be fair. Purchase. Now it wants me to use Creality coins to buy things. There's a pineapple vase here. Can I add that? Download. So the thing is, I don't know where this is actually opening it to. It doesn't. It downloads the stuff, but it doesn't give you a decent enough bit of it. You can open in another app. Why would I want to do that? Workbench. I can see that. Slicing files. My uploads. I haven't got any uploads. Can't slice anything. Pineapple vase. Can I slice that? I mean, this is all very... Oh, hello. Hang on a minute. It might not be... Okay, so... So you... That's so weird, man. Is that going to do anything? To be fair, it doesn't really tell you what to do.
No, I don't have any experience of the Creality Cloud, unfortunately, to even help you go in the right direction.
It looks like I was going to be able to slice something. Hang on a minute, it's doing something now. Filament run out sensor again. So it's obviously got an issue with that. Let me unplug that. We've definitely got enough there. Don't worry about it. Feed, yes. Filament has run out. Okay. Print. Processing, please wait. Click yes to hit the change. Yes to stop the print. Let's do it. So we have some movement now, but it's still beeping at me. Now I imagine as well. Oh, that's so annoying. I do hate a beep. I do hate a beep. Okay, so the other thing is now it just says processing, please wait. Now, if this starts printing, I'm not able to drop the Z down at this point. It's now going on about the filament runout sensor again. Okay. Ah, there's another plug to plug in.
Okay.
That's really well hidden, though. That is really well hidden.
We know the sensor works as well now.
Well, not if it's unplugged.
Well, you know what I mean.
I will say as well, Phil, it's insanely hot behind here.
I can imagine, yeah. It's kicking out some heat.
Literally to the point of burning my fingers there. That was, it's only 60 degrees, but all right. Okay, so that's good. Fingers crossed here. We got a light now on the sensor. That's encouraging. Okay, so we can feed. Let's do the feed then on it. It's now feeding the filament, I think. There we go. We've got a little bit of filament coming out now. We're going to hit back, and that's hit print. Whee, here we go. So it's way up in the air at the minute, and I can't do anything about it. I can't because it's a cloud print. I wonder if I can nip it down. Don't do that at home, guys. Trained professional here. So again, it is on a belted Z as well. So if you do nip one to the left, you can also nip it to the right without too much of an issue. And that seems to be printing some sort of raft because rafts are old school, of course. Let me just move this around a little bit. You can see there. So we are now underway with, I can't even remember what we're printing. What are we printing?
A vase? Did you put a fire?
I think we're printing a vase. I don't know what we're printing anymore. This is a long, Jesus, that is a long, that's like a 3-hour print. Let's kick up the speed. So you can do this 3 times the speed if you want to, or 10 times the speed. Again, we can do that from the app. That's kind of cool. Oh, there we go. Now it's woken up. And it should be able to do that. No questions asked. We should be able to print quick on this printer, especially something very, very small. So let's have a look. Lots of ways to print. Obviously, there was no SD card. We can only assume that while it was in quarantine or, being looked after by customs officials, that we have had the SD card possibly removed. I don't know. On the cloud board, it has an SD card fitted. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate that. Might have to reboot the printer. Lots of people saying that. Yeah, the thing is, though, with that, is that it's not necessarily the printer that needs to be rebooted. I think it's more to do with the system. But having said that, we're not printing in the middle of the printer, which is kind of what I would expect at this point. But there are a ton of ways to print, obviously, via the LAN, by what we've done here with Creality Cloud. And that kind of says to me that one of the things, and I hate to keep going on about them, Bamboo Lab got right, 100% is being able to slice remotely and print remotely. When I had the printers here in the house, I was able to leave for work, make sure the bed was clear, leave for work, slice some stuff at work, hit go, and then by the time I got home, generally they would have printed. So a very, very unique feature there. And a lot of people say those guys are living in the future. And I think that is the future, being able to do stuff remotely, having that remote connection. A lot of people are saying, oh, I don't like anyone getting onto my network. I don't like the Chinese looking at my things. Da, 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 da. Yeah, there is a bit of that. I get it. And, if I was compromised and if other people have been compromised, then I think I would have been, I would be in my own words there, of course. But having said that, there's something that we've got to kind of do here. Had some tapping to do. First print's going well. Oh, good. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I saw you had that. I saw you had that new printer, Jerry. We've had some major issues with this. Me not plugging things in for a start, including the filament runout sensor. We think as well that they've also taken the SD card out at customs. So now we're printing on my first. I'm a Creality Cloud. I say that properly. Here we go. I'll start again.
Expert.
I'm a Creality Cloud Virgin, and we are printing on Creality Cloud for the very first time. And we are doing a vase, and it's 3 times the speed at the moment. I might whip it up a little bit quicker, but I've got to say, first and foremost, it's pretty good. It looks nice. It does look pretty impressive. It is pretty nice. Again, I really want good things for this printer. I think, I don't think many people are going to buy them because I think it's quite a specialist thing. But this, as long as we can get, some of the more traditional things, if Creality Cloud is the link for me to be able to upload stuff and print remotely, I'm all down for that. That is something that none of the other manufacturers easily are able to do right now. So it will be those 2 vendors again. We're talking Creality and we are talking Bamboo Labs. That's it. Those 2. Didn't it say it had a manual? Did it say in the manual it had a no SD card? No, what it said in there in the manual is on point number, because we always read the manual, right, on this show. On point 14, USB flash drive. So yeah, I would have expected that and the G code pre-sliced files for these tests to be on that, but we battled through it. And that I think it's always nice, isn't it? When obviously this isn't my first live stream. I've had it where I've had an SD card, I've put it in and it will not read the SD card. Then you format the SD card or you see the files on the SD card and it ends up being, I think we blew into the port once and it cleared whatever rubbish was on the device and we were able to get the thing in and it started working. So you never know what's around the corner. I'm just going to whip my mouse over here. So lots of ways to print on this. You can, if you had a lot of money and you wanted to spend some money on a print farm, I would say, awesome. Steve has just said, I hate rafts. My first printer was a CTC replicator dual. Oh, nice. I couldn't find out how to stop it from, the raft situation is always going to be in your slicer. And again, I've got no control over the slicer. I've selected a file and this is what I got. I can't say fairer than that. What I will do, though, is I will go over to cam number 2. I'm going to try and reposition that so you can see this a bit better. Try not to. Okay, it's not great, but it's also attached to something, so apologies for that. I bought a new modem, and I'm going back to Gigablast. Going back on Gigablast. I don't know why that is. That sounds like a very American... fight for what's right. It's not AOL, is it? That's for sure. There's no dial-up modems on that situation. So again, let's go back to the beginning on this. This is a 450 by 450 by 470 FTM printer. It is a bit of a mammoth, this one. Oh, hello. What's this? Clear Mods. Dropped you a DM on Insta, something for your P1 piece. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. I'll have a look at that in a bit. It's a speed thing. Yeah, NASCAR. Awesome. So it is a behemoth of a printer. You can squeeze on an R2 dome on this. So the 465, I believe, is achievable. I'll be doing it. I'm going to print another dome. Got to do it. Have to do it. Bear in mind as well, I think it's a 2.5 kilo print, depending on what your infills are on that R2 dome or an R5 dome or any of the other domes that Mr. Badley has obviously produced. Fabulous that we can fit that kind of thing on there. It seems a little bit bizarre to me, Phil, and I don't know how you feel about it. The S5 was such a phenomenal step from a miniature ender to such a large format printer.
Yeah.
Why why aren't more people producing a 500 bed? Is it a cost thing? Is it because they are obviously doing printers, and it's not going to take that much just to, it literally is just that.
Yeah, I think it's just like you mentioned earlier, the sellability of it for the market. The bigger the printer, not everyone has the space for it. If you're looking at buying more than one, do you have enough room for that?
We say that though, there are, I think, 20,000 members of the UK, or sorry, 20,000 members of the droid building community that are on Michael Badley's page, right? And I know, because I was one of the first, I had 3, 500s. So, and I wasn't the only one that had 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, because you wanted to get those parts printed quickly. And anybody that knows anything about 3D printing will know categorically that the best way for you to increase your capacity within 3D printing is to buy a second machine. Forget speed and all the rest of it. If you want to print faster prints and cut down your print time, you will buy a second, or in my case, Babylab's a 6th 3D printer in order to get those speeds cut down. So a battle droid, as you know, normally takes 6 to 8 weeks, 100%, 4 days I managed to get that done in. So an army of these things, you can producing a farm kind of mentality, I think is going to be could potentially be very, very cool. Now, my big concern here on this particular print is that it's a vase, and I don't know if it would have sliced it in vase mode. And it seems to be doing some quite, if you look at it at the minute, if you can see that there, it does seem to be quite a big, fat, it's a really bad camera angle, actually. Sorry about that, guys. It does seem, oh no, okay, I think it's doing some infill now. Okay, so we might be okay. But yeah, going back to it, it's I'd love to have seen a 500 on this. I think if they'd done like a proper 500 on this bed, I mean, you're talking another 3, what's that?
30.
Yeah, another 30 centimeters. No, it wouldn't be 30 centimeters, 30 mil. Yeah, it's micron of space, really, when you think about it. It's literally it's nothing. It literally is that. That's it. That's all it is. Tiny amount. But yeah, I mean, I think they've done a sterling job on this. And I think one of the things with Creality that's been passed by is the Sprite extruder. I think that was kind of they got it out so quick and everyone was like, whoa, what is it? I don't really understand it. Being able to print various materials that need 300 degrees or, that in itself is actually a pretty good achievement. I don't think anyone's really giving them any credit for that. Fastest printer is a multiple printer. It certainly is, mate. That is for sure. Hope you're well, Chris. Haven't seen you for a little while. What's this say here? I'm just starting to find them. It's such a nice change to be able to watch the UK time rather than a late one. Yeah, man. Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And tomorrow, I'm probably going to be back again, and we're going to be doing the Snapmaker J1. Again, that arrived on Friday, I think it was. What day is it today? Saturday. Yeah, it arrived yesterday. So that arrived yesterday. I've got some other stuff that's in the bank at the minute that isn't due for release just yet. There might be another Creality. There might be an Anycubic. There isn't Anycubic for sure. So have they raised the bar with this printer? I would say 100% yes. And are you going to own one? Probably not. Only because I think it is more of a specialist thing. I think people that Frank from Frankly Built, the Iron Man guy, this is a cosplayer's dream for the build size of this thing. If you're doing any kind of droid, if you're doing C-3PO as a good example, to be able to print a full body on this printer would be astonishing. But it is a heck of an investment. And Creality K1. Yeah, the K1. Now, this is an interesting point, and I did put this in earlier. As a creator, and we're all in the same boat, depending on who manages you and who doesn't. I had a manager at Creality a couple of weeks ago, and that person left. Then I got given another one, which was amazing. This person was insanely great, gave me everything that I needed, and now I've got somebody else, and I just feel like I've been passed around a little bit. And the fact that I sat in quarantine for 40 days, really annoying, because I had, it knocks my time back. did I really want to do this particular printer on a live stream, or would I would prefer to shown you a fully printed R2D2 dome that was printed inside of a few days? Yes, I would have preferred to have showed you that, and I will show you that as well, because we'll do a full rundown on this. But getting it out of the box, I think, is you know this more than anyone, Phil. I guess getting out of the box is half the battle. Once it's out of the box, it's in your studio, it's in your workplace. And at that point, you can then start kind of manipulating, moving forward with things. The LDO Voron Trident 300 that I've got as well. The hold up with that, I did an unboxing of that live. The hold up with that has been the Polymaker filament. And now the filament's just arrived. In fact, they've sent me a ton of filament and ABS and ASA. So a lot of the stuff, interestingly enough, I had a meeting with Polymaker this week. And they were saying, no one else has got that stuff at the minute. It's just you. And the way that Polymaker are allocating filaments is a little bit arbitrary to what their business model should be. And if something isn't in stock, your order essentially gets stuck for a while, which is kind of annoying. But for whatever reason, they had those ones in stock because I guess they're brand new to the marketplace. So chucking it out. And that arrived unbeknownst to me completely. Jerry says my Creality rep moved on a few years ago. I've not tried to hook up with anyone else since. Yeah, again, Eligoo, another manufacturer, of course, they reached out to me, and I spent a long time trying to, meet with people, talk to people, understand exactly what my demographic of influencing or whatever you want to call it. I hate that word, influencing. It's just such an awful bloody word. But ultimately, it is what it is. Potentially someone will watch this stream or someone will watch one of my videos and go, actually, yeah, I'm going to buy one of those because I like what that person's done with that thing. Is this the one for you? It's relatively easy to set up. It does seem, though, to be having some sort of crazy infill of about 10%. So that's probably why it's a 3-hour print, right? But that being said, what are you looking forward to at the moment, Phil, as in the marketplace right now?
I'm looking forward to challenges for Bambi. That's what I'm looking for. I think if you look at the mobile phone, if we go back to mobile phones, I know they're totally different parts of the game, but they all mean the same thing. Of what we experienced when we were younger, what types of mobile phones we had, not touchscreen, analog. It's revolutionizing the printing world, having all these new challenges. It's waking up the community and saying, we're not just going to upgrade the fans. We're not just going to upgrade the boards, make them silent, different size nozzles. We are going to change the revolution and revolutionize printing. That's what I'm looking forward to. Some of it's blue sky. Bamboo is blue sky for me. Creality, what they've brought out here is great. That's where I'm. For me as a reviewer, it's scary as well because it's like you're moving out of your depth in terms of your knowledge zone. We're no longer concentrating on how to improve a printer. We're now thinking, how do we use the printer? What can it bring me? How can we maximize its capabilities?
Absolutely.
That's actually a lot of the conversations I've been having with yourself and other people. Is that how do we use these now to the maximum of their capabilities?
Well, that's exactly right. And what I have seen a lot of, which is really interesting, I think, in the marketplace is that people think that printing faster is better. And for the most part, it is. Okay. But how do you do that? The way people are doing that now, and certainly for budget machines, is reinvent or make the nozzle longer so you have a higher heat threshold. And the idea of that is if you can get the motor to push that filament out quicker, you can print quicker. But then how do you move forward with the quality, especially when you're not using linear rails or an abundance of, or an alternative to that? Also, all the time you're using V-slots, I think you're always going to experience some of those issues with speed. What's kind of nice about this, and interestingly enough, we do have linear rails on the bed, but we don't have linear rails on the X movement. So they are pulley wheels like you would normally expect. Now, to be fair, if I was going to knock this at all, okay, two things. One, I'd probably put a 0.6 nozzle on it as a default, because printing at 0.4, to be honest, you're not going to see a huge amount of difference. And I've just clocked the quality on this is like just insane. That it does look beautiful, actually, this print. And I'll put it on my Instagram and Twitter and stuff later on. But it can do what it needs to do. And, if you want a half the time of your printer or near on half time of your printer, put a 0.8 nozzle on it, because you're actually going to be able to expel more filament over that that same period of time. And that's all well and good if you want a load of layer lines. But actually being able to print quick, then you've got Bamboo Labs. Oh, well, actually, I don't like the fact that it's proprietary software. All right, fair enough. Then buy and build a Voron. Oh, but I don't like building things. Well, what choice do you have? Everybody's in a business here. Everybody's got to have their USP. And, I think Bamboo are quite within their rights to be able to close that down as and where they see fit. Same that Creality Cloud are trying to do this thing where, and I think it's a good thing. Will it be the most successful part of it? I don't know. Carl said, the Sprite hot end is very good. Yeah, actually, I agree. And on the two other printers that I've got, which is the new Ender 3 S1 and the Ender 5 S1, the hot ends, again, are the Sprite, the Pro versions of their extruder. Now, back in the day, when we had the S5s, I would physically buy the whole hot end and the cable to plug into the external box. Okay, I'd buy those, and they'd be about 20 quid. And I would rather change that than change the nozzle and all the gubbings and the heat creep and all the issues that they had back in the day. The direct drive element of this is a clear winner. 100% clear winner with this. Not just this, but any Creality model now that is, all of them are direct drive. I don't think I've seen a Bowden setup in quite some time now from Creality.
No.
There's going to be a reason for that. It's got to be a reason for that. And I think it's that channel of things being blocked. Bowden tubes, by their default nature, cause friction. Okay, so that's always, your motor's always going to be under some sort of stress by trying to pull the filament across. Then people then start buying 3 kilo, 8 kilo, 10 kilo spools. That motor's got to work extra hard, regardless of what it is. It's got to work extra hard. So, we are already causing our own issues here by. Again, I'm going on another rant here. It seems kind of crazy, right? But we end up creating our own luck by putting stuff on these things. Now, when I went back to the S5 and I reached out to Slice Engineering and Guys Design and Bondtech and various other people, I was like, I just want the ultimate S5. And no one really since then has done a decent 500 bed slinger. Even Modis or Modex, they do a 600 by 600 or 600 by 1200 3D printer. Awesome size, but it's still a Core XY. So, it's interesting. Carl said Anycubic are trying to release their cloud setup. They will fail.
Yeah,
they will fail. They don't. Sorry, I love them. And I work with them a lot. They are not. They're very good at making printers. They're not good at concentrating on things like a Creality Cloud or anything like that. I think they're better off teaming up with somebody else and letting them deal with that and concentrating on what they're actually very good at. Now, if you go back a few years and you look at the Anycubic X and the S, and they're quite ugly printers. And in fact, we were talking the other day, I think, Phil, about the resin printers and the X1 that I've got, the X2 that I've got, and the Anycubic logo that's on there, the UI is old school. It's old school Anycubic. So they've not even changed, there's got to be, actually, that screen looks really nice. It's very professional. It's this, that, and the other. You want to see something that looks really, really good. And if you don't have that, there's no innovation around it, which is why when I saw that, you posted up about it's a different UI, isn't it? It's a completely different UI altogether that someone's come up with.
Sonic Pad 2?
No, on the Anycubic.
Yes, the UI for that I thought was absolutely amazing. I'm actually going to load that up tonight just for the sake of it.
That's cool. But I mean, we had this back with the CR6 SE where there was a community firmware. All of a sudden, there was this community firmware because Creality, again, a lot of these Chinese companies, they would just move on from one thing to another. Right, we've done this printer. We're not going to support it now. Let's move on to the next project. And people as well. Hello, Wexter. How you doing, dude? It really is a big printer. And it's heavy as well. And now I'm thinking this one will go out the door. Unlike the rat rigs, some of the rat rigs, if you build a big rat rig, it might not fit out of your door. So you've got to be kind of careful with that whole thing. But yeah, this is a 450 by 470. It's what I'd call a prosumer version. So it has kind of got those industrial elements. So it does have these massive linear rails. We've still got the V-slot wheels on the X, but again, you're not having to move a ton of weight across. There aren't bed springs on this. It is all fixed down to the bed. In fact, even on the bed leveling that we tried earlier, the bed leveling was within about a mil range. So I'm not gonna, you can't really complain about that. And again, we'll see how things progress when it heats and cools and metal moves. That's the nature of the game there. You can't, getting a totally flat bed is the mission really. And that's why also bed leveling has been such a fundamental change. I was only saying just the other day that there will come a day where there will be people in this community who will go, "Oh, those young'uns, they don't know how to level a bed." I remember back in the days when I used to have to change this out. That whole thing, the innovation side of it is kind of freaking a little bit scary, in fact. So, it's but R2D2 dome on this printer for sure. And, we are printing more and more things all the time. I do like Wexter's minifigures, for example. I've got a few up here. Let me show you. Hang on. There we go. This is a big mini. It's sort of blown out with the light here, actually. But, if you imagine that being on that printer, I'd be able to print a larger one of these if I chose to. I've got a Joel Telling that I take to bed with me every night, and he's it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, the other thing with this is, that, and it's not just this printer specific, it's across the Sprite range. Is there number of different materials that they want to use? PC, there's a lot of flexible filaments and stuff like that you can use. You garden gnomes. There's a ton of stuff. And I think I still believe that the hot end on this is certainly underrated inside of this ecosystem. And I think Creality still have got some stuff to give. I don't think maybe we should write them off completely. No. I was very annoyed about the Ender 5 S1, really, really annoyed by that. And that was mainly down to the fact that I wasn't getting the support as a creator. So that was kind of annoying. So 25 point also bed leveling, that's nothing new. We've seen that before on other printers. In fact, some other printers, and certainly if you look at the Ratrig VCore 3 at the moment, they've got an eddy current that goes across. And I think it has something like 5,000 points that it scans super quickly. It's mental. Maybe that's something you'll see in the future. I think that's a Clipper-specific feature, so we'll wait and see on that one. It has a PC bed leveling. Sorry, it has a PC bed surface, so less wobble with the Z-axis. These aluminium rods, I'm not really getting any major movement through that. It does feel quite good. Simplified UI. Again, we've got this Creality Cloud business now, so I've not really experienced that with any other recent Creality style printer. And is it using a strain gauge like the CR6 Max? Yes, I believe it is. Was there a problem with that? What I will say is that I didn't plug it in to start with, so it seems pretty hefty. So that's all good. 800 watt industrial power supply. It doesn't have a 110-240 switch, as we discovered earlier. This stream could have ended very, very early if the whole thing just went up in smoke. So, bit of a food for thought there with that. So it's 100 to, reading this now, 100 to 240 voltages worldwide with an 800 watt, delivers over 90% efficiency with little, that reads well, doesn't it? 90% efficiency and little thermal runaway. Little? I wouldn't want any. Little thermal runaway? Well, would you fancy a little bit? No, thanks. We'll rest assured to be safe and steady with peak performance. Let's go with 3D printing till the end. So the usual kind of thing. It is running Marlin, so we've got power loss recovery. We've got, obviously, auto bed leveling. We've got filament run out, all that kind of stuff that we were on with before. We do have this optional extras, and they've called it the CRCC S7 camera, which, incidentally, if you look back to Creality's 7th birthday, I think it was the 7th or 8th. And I went on and we got to talk to the CEOs. And it was me and Sebastian who wrote the firmware for the CR6 SE. This is the community firmware. And I asked then, wouldn't it be cool if you sort of had a camera on the side of your printer that you could watch your print? And they were like, don't know what you're talking about, mate. And I was completely mugged off as well. I'd love to find that footage, but I was like, oh, okay, it sounds like a good idea to me. And now, of course, we have that on so many printers. I'm not saying that it was my idea and, I'm the new Napster or anything like that. But what I will say is, we did talk about that. And, thankfully, everyone else maybe thought that was a good idea. Maybe you didn't hear it at first, but it kind of made sense as a natural progression for 3D printing technology. Being able to print remotely on this is going to be another game changer, I think, for Creality. I don't really want to have to buy a secondary box. I really don't want to do that. If it's built into the printer, I think that's fair game. It's the same camera from back in the days, is it? I don't know. Anyway, we've got here, it says 3 kilo filament and spool holder. Well, it will definitely hold 2 kilos. I don't know where the 3 is from, but I suspect it would probably be good for that as well. I love the fact that they said it can take 3 kilos, which means things will last longer. Probably 3 times longer. So the other thing is what they have is a transparent enclosure, acrylic enclosure for this printer. Now, I've not seen that, but would it, we know what I said to you before, Phil, I don't know if you ever got the enclosure or if you're looking to get the enclosure, but it becomes redundant when there's no top on it because heat rises. So unless you've got, I will say though, when I've printed in garages and sheds and other places like that, if you have any wind that comes through, cold breeze or wind coming through throughout the night, you will get some lift, certainly with PLA, definitely with things like PETG and most certainly ABS. So would it fit in a car garage? This printer would fit. I had, again, bear in mind, I had 3 S5s in my garage back in the day, and that was absolutely fine. Like I say, though, I think the S5 was about £600 or £700. I believe at that point, that £600 or £700 was money well spent on that particular printer at that time. So, yeah, I got 3 of them because, again, the production value, it just had to happen. Just had to happen. So we are saying here that it's 24/7 smart customer service. I don't even know what that means. I've never had any customer service issues with Creality. I've had nothing sent back. It's got 1 year's warranty, hardware and software ecosystem, tutorials and review videos. I'm guessing that's going to be from internally of what we're doing here. There is a load of stuff around 3D printing with the Creality Cloud. They want you to use that ecosystem. That is a real problem if you have got multiple printers. And I'm sure, Phil, you've probably found this, that in Cura, it's quite easy just to be able to drop down. When they have their own unique ecosystem, it then becomes, one thing that's quite ironic with Bamboo Lab, right? Why is there Voron stuff on there?
That's a very good question.
Why is that there? Like, there's no other printers, but there is Bamboo Lab or Voron. And it's like, that for me just seems really, really weird. Like, but then would I then go, oh yeah, I'll just nip into Bamboo Lab real quick and just make sure that my Voron's all set up? I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. I'd use Super Slicer or whatever else. I don't know. What does this say here? They're great for prototyping functional, sizable prints, slower than Core XY, and easy to work on, readily available parts. Is this the S5 we're talking about, I'm assuming? Really easy to upgrade as well. Certainly when I started out doing YouTube videos and stuff, the whole element around being able to upgrade something the way that we did. And that's actually how I met Tripod. He was doing, Creality sent me the so they sent me the Ender 5 Plus, I think it was. And I noticed that he did a video on it. So I emailed him a very polite email. I wanted to call him by his name because I didn't know what his name was at the time. I thought, calling someone Tripod is probably not, but I didn't understand what the deal was at the time. And now, of course, we're very good friends. So it's funny how things work out, right? But yeah, on my sheet here, there is a whole load of stuff about what it can print. Again, Creality are going through this kind of ecosystem change. So it's not just the Creality Cloud, it's also the filament that's able to be offered out as well. So they have got the PLA, they've got a CR, a HP, a TPU, a CR ABS, CR nylon, CR PETG. They do a PA carbon as well. And other different they put gift filaments, which is stuff like rainbow colors and, all that kind of crazy stuff that they do as well. Recommended software is, again, the Creality Cloud stuff. And, again, I think I'm pretty confident with Cura that I can widen that ever so slightly to 270 because that's what the bed size is. And I think that will work without too many issues. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's have a look at the weight here. We have got a gross weight of 28.3 kilos.
That's pretty intense.
That's mad, isn't it? Plus, then potentially a kilo on top of that for your filament.
Yeah.
Matt,
30 kilo.
Matt was saying earlier that I was looking like I was out of breath. Yeah, you're bloody right, mate. I was deadlifting 30 kilos here, pal.
Yeah.
CR touching also, again, we know all this stuff. The good thing about this is we do have that USB connectivity. We do not have an SD card slot on this at all. It's all going to be, you're going to send to this printer and it's going to do that stuff. And again, you're locked in. I don't know necessarily if you're going to be able to do that with Cura. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. What does this say? CM. Hello, CM. Hang on, let me just get your question up here. We'll be curious on your thoughts on bed slingers versus Core XY and where you believe slingers still shine. Slingers, it's a really good question. So if you're in the droid building community, and I've done a talk on this, we do a droid builders event every year. We don't have one this year because we've got Star Wars Celebration next week. If you're a droid builder, if you make R2D2s and build all the kind of stuff that I tend to do on the channel and stuff, there's two printers, Bamboo Labs and Ratrig VCore 3, the 500 version. So that was mainly because I needed something that was going to be quick. And do you want to buy a multitude of so many printers at this size? Unless you have a print farm, I think you're going to really struggle with it. The 500 Ratrig that I have is humongous and it's a cube. So you're kind of stuck with what you've got. With this, you've got a bit of air around you and everything kind of happens down here. These bed slingers do suffer for the most part from inertia. And what that is you've got to move a mass from point to point. And of course, when you've had bed slingers previously with springs on them, if you load up 5 kilos, that's going to put pressure on those springs. So you wonder why your print quality at the top is worse than what it is at the bottom. It's because you're putting the weight on it, and essentially those springs are not tolerant enough to be able to push that up and give you good adhesion. So that's why you're going to have problems with this kind of stuff. Now, this came out, and this is, as soon as I saw this at Formnext, I was like, damn, I think they fixed it. It's a solid bed that locks in place to linear rails. There is no bed movement on that. You can put 30 kilos onto this thing. That's what it says in the literature here. That's what the tests have shown. So being able to print 30 kilos of something on this printer is an alarming amount of... can you imagine doing a cube on this? A 30 kilo cube and then just wandering around with it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Wexter has said, hang on a minute. I haven't tried any Creality printers since the CR10, and that one is still operating in my office. What will the K1 bring? Yeah, good. Well, K1 is this, okay? And not because I do know certain things, but what is very obvious is the K1, and we know this because Creality have just dropped Marlin, and we mentioned this earlier when we were talking about it. Creality dropped Marlin. So Marlin no longer getting support. Now, that really sucks because Marlin do need that support. 100% they need support. Now, Clipper is supported by Big Tree Tech, okay? So that's on all the literature. You can see that on GitHub, et cetera, et cetera. So it's, now Creality are clipperizing everything, which in theory should make things faster. And again, that's where things start coming unstuck, because Creality do not understand Clipper. The Sonic Pad told us that, because they put their own version on it, which was a cut down, slimmed down Clipper, and it worked. But for the most part, the reason that Clipper is so good is because of that open source element. So the K1 ecosystem is going to be Creality Clipper, and the two things you'll see about the speed and efficiency on that is I don't think you're going to see a Core XY printer. I don't think you're going to see a Core XY printer. We saw that on the Ender 7, and we saw what happened with that. That was not, I don't know anyone that's got an Ender 7. You know, the Core XYs that they have put out outside of a HBot format, so the Ender 5, for example, you know, that is slow. That's a slow printer for what it is. Oh, we can do 250 millimeters. You can't do 250 millimeters per second on that. It's 120 at the max. And it even says that in the literature. Why are you saying something is 250 when it's definitely not? So there's a little bit of, I guess, you know, creative marketing, I think you could put down to that. Yeah, Sonic Pad 2 is out soon. But going back to what you were saying about, you know, the whole Bedslinger Core XY thing, and notably, as I said this earlier as well, you know, Joseph Prusa has brought out the Mark IV Prusa. Awesome, right? I probably will never own one, okay? Not because I don't think they're good or don't rate them. 100% I rate Prusa. Love Joe. He's a great guy. Brilliant within the industry. You know, an absolute marvel, in fact. The Mark IV for me, I don't really have a need for it. I sold my 2 Mark III Prusas and replaced those with Bamboo Labs. Since then, I've now got 6 Bamboo Lab printers, and I can produce an alarming amount of plastic per square foot every day. And my sponsor, Polymaker, absolutely hate me now because I am asking them for pallets now, not just can you send me 10 kilos, it's can you send me pallets of X, Y, and Z, because I've got this idea and I want to make this a reality. I'm talking about 3D printing gearboxes that you can easily swap out. I'm talking about some very, very interesting elements there. Is there still room for bed slingers? 100%. If you are starting out in the 3D printing market, again, like I said earlier, Sovol is going to be a clear winner for me for that. I'm just going to turn this other camera off because it doesn't need to be on. Sovol is 100% going to be a clear winner for that. There's no way, shape or form that anyone can really beat them at the moment, especially with those price points. The Plus I've got in at the minute that I've been reviewing over the past week or so, brilliant, absolute classic printer. I think people are going to, if opening the box for the very first time and setting stuff up is brilliant. So Core XY is quick. Everybody was really worried about it. You had 3 schools of thought. You had Cartesian, you got Delta, and you got Core XY. Oh, you don't want a Delta because they're really hard to configure. Or you don't want a Core XY because they don't draw circles properly. Oh, that's just stick with the bed slingers. And the reason that these companies do and continually pump out bed slingers is because of the success of the Ender 3. I'm having another bloody rant. I almost need to just take a chill pill on this. It's insanity, but I guess maybe it shows passion, maybe it shows stupidity. I don't know, but either way, the success of the Ender 3 cannot go without saying, well, fair play to Creality, but they are very much like Michael Jackson. They are continually trying to get the Thriller album back out again and make something better. And let's just hope that they don't die trying. Let's be fair. You know, that's exactly what he did. The Thriller album was so brilliant and big and huge, but no other albums hit that mark again after that point. So, you know, Ender 3 came out. They revised it. Do I really want to see another Ender 3 revision? That because it does Clipper? Not really. K1, that sounds awesome, though. I'm really interested in seeing how that's going to go about. The issues that you're going to have with Core XY at the minute, out of the box, the only decent, from what I've seen, there might be some stuff coming, though, the decent Core XY machines that you can get out of the box without having to faff around or build it yourself is Bamboo Lab. If you are the type of person that wants to cry and moan about, hey, you know what, I want this particular nozzle, I want this particular type of cooling, I want this, that, and the other, then go with a Voron. Learn the skills, my friends, because you will learn a lot putting that machine together. But from what I have seen online where people are continually tinkering with their Voron because there's always something to do. And is it ever a finished machine? At least with Bamboo Lab, you can go, well, actually, this bit's broken on it. And certainly if you're Stephen Lightspeed, well, you know, if something does go wrong, at least you've got that limited warranty. And all right, he had to ship the thing back, but they did replace it. So, you know, where's your support at? And I think in 3D printing, you really do need that. No worries. Let's have a look. Sorry, Wex, I'm just having a look at this. My Bamboo loves a print. Yeah, my Mark 3. I still love them and love Prusa as a company. 100%. Yeah, my material is insane. It really is insane. Huge price for the Prusa is an upgrade option. Yeah, I saw that as well. I thought I was being clever by selling my Prusas at a good rate, and I did that, and I got some good money back on it. So I'm interested in Creality and any cubic speed printers. Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to be quite what you expected from experience. I think they're going to be good, but I don't. Yeah, everyone's trying to go for the speed thing now because it's popular and good. But let's have a look. Oh, that one's dead. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My camera's just died on that one. But what I will say, on this pineapple print, it does look really, really good. And we have been nearly going for 3 hours here, Phil. So I think it's probably about time that we wrap this one up. What I'll do, guys, if you want to hang out and catch Jerry's stream later, that's, what's his name on that thing? HD 3D? It's Jerry, though. Jerry Knapp. If you're there, can you post a link, mate? If you're still there. If you're not, then maybe someone else will. I'll probably be on that stream a little bit later, and this probably still will be going. Jerry's a good guy, so make sure you support him. Also, Phil, 3DP UK or 3D Puck or 3D Puke, depending on where you're at. Obviously, content creator, you live not too far from me. We're good friends, obviously. And do you want to just give your channel a quick plug?
Yeah, so if you've not seen my channel, head over to 3DP UK. My channel is, I do a quick review of the machines that I bring in, but then I also go into a bit more depth into it. So I don't just content review it. I look into the communities that people follow and listen to questions and try and come up with some answers for them. So I go away and I see what the issues they have, and I'll just quietly spend the night working on it, and then I'll bring it back to the community and I'll bring a quick video out for everyone to watch. And rather than recreating the chat in the communities, I just send the video out and plug that video out for everyone to see, and it works. I know a lot of my videos are around Cobra Max, so hoping to venture out into Creality's Ender 5s and anything else that's sent over. So if you haven't already, head over, check it out, 3DP UK. And thank you once again to Sam.
No worries, man. Listen, I'll put your links in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'm just going to play this outro and have a great day. And tomorrow, I'm hoping to come back with the Snapmaker J1. And like I say, my socials will have this print up later. I'll be hashtagging on Twitter and doing all that kind of crazy stuff. But Phil, thank you very much for joining me. I'll just pop you out of here for the minute. And guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for Creality. Thank you for PCBWay.com for sponsoring this. And friends, here we go.
You are watching a master at work.